All right, welcome race fans to PitStop TV. We are live here for the L-TAC Cup Series from Talladega. Bit of a short intro today. We were having some technological issues, but we got that squared away. Your pole sitter tonight is Taylor Butcher Benjamin, and we are set for 94 laps here at the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama, and it's going to be a fun one. I got Trey Shuttlesworth with me in the booth. Trey, you have not been here for this series in particular, but I know you've seen a couple of the races. And I definitely think it's going to be a good show tonight as we're coming to the green here.
Yep, we have a bit of a limited field, only 20 cars lined up and are entered onto the grid tonight, but I think there's a lot to look forward to just because we have the Cup Aero package at the Super Speedways. We have a half of a fuel limit. We have half of a full race distance in the NASCAR Cup Series. Let's get rolling.
All right, well, Taylor Butcher Benjamin will lead us to the green. Green flag in the air, and we're off here for 94 laps, half distance of the full-length race in the real world. Taylor Butcher Benjamin leading the inside line. He has Nate Brooker on the bottom with him. That's Dustin Schwingle on the outside, and he's got Damaris Hickenbottom, who you've seen in previous broadcasts here on the channel. He is helping him, but that outside line quickly dissolving.
Yeah, we've seen Hickenbottom play host in the Galaxy Cup Series, but now tonight he's here at the plate track here in L-TAC, and he's currently commanding second place on the outside line, looking about fifth place on the leaderboard right now. That inside is formed up a bit better right now. We have about 5 or 6 cars that are lined up right on each other's bumpers, and we only have about 3 cars lined up on the outside. Though we do have another one joining there on the top side. It looks to be... Sorry, I can't pick that one out, but regardless, we have 4 cars up there right now up top.
That's actually going to be Christopher Lewis and Landon Durhold helping the 2 Fords up on the outside there. Leader of lap 1 will be Taylor Butcher Benjamin. You see the 2 cars behind Nate Brooker on the inside line. That's going to be Ryan Duke and Stephen Parrott. Those 2 cars, both teammates, they duked it out for the win at Bristol. Landon Durhold was a part of that battle as well. Him and Ryan Duke actually ended up getting together in the end. So I will definitely watch all 3 of those cars tonight because they have shown quick speed in the 3 races we've broadcasted here so far. But it looks like we've actually got a challenge on the outside right now. Dustin Schwingle to the outside, and I mispronounced that. That was actually a Camaro of his. Thought it was a Ford at first, couldn't really see it that well, but that is a Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE. We've talked about that car plenty here on the channel, and he's got help from Damaris on the outside. Doesn't look like they can quite get to Taylor, but Taylor's going to lead lap 2.
Yeah, the outside line really did struggle off the exit of turn 4, and so far after 2 laps, I think we're starting to notice that these guys are really struggling to lock bumpers here at all whatsoever. So it's going to make trying to go for a push late in the race probably pretty difficult. And just as someone that has done a lot of plate racing on iRacing, I like the idea of, you have a couple of guys right now on the outside. This would be a good time to try testing things out and seeing when's the right time to go for a run to try to pull a drag race finish at the start-finish line.
Yeah, and you definitely got to wonder if they will eventually get single-filed out here because they will have to make a pit if all goes green during this stage. We got a 25-lap stage and then another 25-lap stage, and then the final stage of this race will be 44 laps. But I was speaking with Nolan, who is the race admin, and we were talking about fuel numbers earlier, and we kind of determined that these cars go anywhere from about 15 to 18 laps on a tank of gas with about 50% fuel limit. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from there. But you see Dustin Schwingle actually just take the lead off of turn 2 here. He jumped in front of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Damaris Hickenbottom now to his outside that's the 111 of Christopher Lewis pushing.
Yep, those lines are pretty competitive right now. We have about 4 on the outside rather that are lined up nose to tail. But no, I think the 50% fuel limit, it creates a lot of anxiety as a driver just because as soon as the green flag drops, you're immediately thinking about the fact that you do have to pit pretty soon. Like you said, 15 laps. It's not that long around Talladega Superspeedway. That's only about 12 or 13 minutes of on-track action. And it could come into play as soon as after a yellow after 1 or 2 laps where you have to start thinking about, do I want to pit right now? Because it's just going to make it so that you have such a disadvantage in terms of pit strategy down the road.
Yeah, and really the tricky part will actually be getting to that pit road. I've heard some people are a little sketchier on entry than others because of how their brake bias is set so far. So the thing about these cars getting to pit road is Talladega is a very bumpy pit entrance, and if you lock the rear brakes, it's very easy to spin that car out. We saw it in the real world with both Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski spinning their cars last year at Talladega. But even here on the iRacing service, it's a very tricky way of getting to pit lane. And if you're coming off a turn 4 at 200 miles an hour, it's very hard to get these cars slowed down to 60.
The terrifying thing on the iRacing side of things too is just the severity of penalties that you can have if you're speeding on pit road. I believe it's a 15 or 20-second penalty, and then if you completely miss the pit entry after the commitment cone and try to come down, it's going to be an even more severe penalty. So in some ways, it could be a more lax penalty than you see in real life, but it could also be very damaging.
On board with the number 96 Ryan Duke right here. He won our race at the Roval and then nearly won last weekend at Bristol, but that was actually his teammate Stephen Parrott who won that race. You see, it's very calm, but here in the back, we got 3 wide going on. There's a couple cars. That's the 19 on the outside. I believe that's Chris Mathis actually on the outside of that. They're kind of in a 3 wide. That's going to be Jeremy Berger. And I believe Sean Deal was a part of that 3 wide as well. You see that on your screen now, the almost gold chrome number 44 Sunny D machine. And Chris Mathis trying to make the outside work again. He's got Mario Lapinta behind him, so it'll really depend on where Mario goes to see if he can make a run.
Right now, he was looking to the outside of the 12 of 1 second. Still trying to get a little bit familiar there. I believe the issue that I'm having right now is that there's some custom numbers here, and it's making it a little bit harder to look at timing and scoring. But yeah, right now, still no help there on the outside for Mathis. And he looks like I think he's finally going to drop off a couple of spots, and he's going to have to concede for the time being. There will be a time where these guys are going to end up running 3 wide, but you know, I think we have 94 laps. We have a little bit until the stage comes to the end, although we are looking at a pit window in about 10 laps here. Everyone's still staying with the lead pack for now. A couple of drives dropping off about a half of a second, but everyone's still in contention here in stage 1.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple cars there further in the back. It's going to be Bobby Hamilton Jr., Colt Ansley, and Chris Mathis all riding at the back. Kind of a strategy we see a lot in plate racing. Whoa, Lauren McFadden way up the racetrack, maybe having some issues there. Don't know what the problem with him is, but he's got it squared away now. But some of those guys will fall to the rear. I mean, that's just a common strategy here on the service and just in the real world in general. We cannot words tonight, but yeah, a lot of guys will fall to the back, just kind of patiently ride everything out, and then you'll see the guys up front, like right now, going 2, 3 wide, just kind of feeling things out for the most part. But we definitely need to watch later on in this race because it's really not a question of when it's going to happen. It's it's not a question of if it'll happen, but when the big one will strike tonight, because we got 20 cars, and any sim racing broadcast you've ever watched can prove that even with 10 cars, you can have a big one. So you will definitely see things get a little rowdy as the night goes on.
No, I think you're definitely going to get your money's worth tonight, even with the limited field. The thing that you also have to consider, Cole, is the fact that we do have 1 fast repair. So I think in the middle stages of the race, it's going to encourage guys to be a little bit more aggressive than they might not be in a race where they don't have that fast repair.
And we got a couple reports coming in. Mike Aiello Jr. and Kyle Green are both pitting this lap. That's what I've seen here. We got a couple cars ducking off there to the inside. And I believe that is just Aiello and Kyle Green. So those 2 cars will duck on to the pit lane and get it down to 60 miles an hour. As back up to the front, though, things have really not changed for the most part. Dustin Schwingle still leading this race. Taylor Butcher Benjamin now to the outside of Nate Brooker. Nate Brooker's stayed consistently on the inside in the 2nd position there. But Taylor and Dustin both swapped which lanes they were controlling.
Yeah, you're right there, but Schwingle so far has been commanding the inside for the last couple of laps, as you said. Pretty interesting to see on the number 6 of... sorry, I believe... yet again, I'm having the issue where I don't... Oh, no, the 6 does have the correct number. But he's going to duck under the L line, and he's looking potentially at a pit entry here. He is going to come in under speed. It looks like everyone's going to come in relatively calmly. No major incidents. But the 6 is sporting a number that is closer to the back end of the door as opposed to the middle of the door. So similar to what you saw in the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star race at Bristol Motor Speedway Wednesday night. He is going to lead that train down pit road here of about, looks to be about a half a dozen cars. So they should have a lot of momentum coming off the pit road as long as they stay together.
Yeah, Logan Hamilton actually overshot his box a little bit. Saw Stephen Parrott get a little sideways in his box. Ryan Duke, his teammate, both coming in as well. I believe Sean Deal was on pit lane. Yes, he was. And then Jeremy Berger was the last car in that entire group, I believe. Back to the lead now. That will hand it to Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who's now leading the 9 car of Dustin Schwingle, and Damaris Hickenbottom with Christopher Lewis in 4th. And 5th will go to Landon Durhold. And Landon, I've talked about him a little bit he nearly won Bristol. He took tires late in the race and nearly stole the win from Ryan Duke and Stephen Parrott. But Ryan kind of got Landon's way, and Landon just said, hey, get out of my way, and moved him completely. So tempers did flare a little bit between those two, but they talked it out. Everything was good. You see Mario Lapinto, he's got his teammate Lauren McFadden on the outside. Both of those guys working towards the front right now. The 19, Chris Mathis, helping them out. Mitchell Goosens is there. Robert Pattengale is helping them. So we got a whole cast of new characters coming towards the front here.
Naturally bound to happen when you have the middle of a pit cycle at Talladega Superspeedway. And I just think it's a track that tends to get a lot of drivers that may not always be out front, you know, in front of the television cameras. We see it work very effectively in real life action at the plate tracks, where it's a great place to get a sponsorship on the hood of your stock car, because you're almost guaranteed television time that you might not get at other tracks, just like we're seeing here tonight. So yeah, McFadden still leading that outside line, having a little bit of assistance there from sorry, I have a bit of a difficult camera angle, making it difficult to determine who the 82 is. Oh, Lauren McFadden rather is pushing the number 13 machine of
Mario Lapinto.
Mario Lapinto, yes, thank you.
Yeah, both of those cars are in the Dick Insider sponsorship on them. So definitely, they easily stand out in the field. Just look for the yellow or the green and red and white cars in the field, and you'll definitely see them. But we have not had any more takers out of this top group here since about 2 or 3 laps ago. So we do want to quickly mention the 6, or you will see the 19 and the 12. They do look similar tonight. That's Chris Mathis and Logan Hamilton. They are not teammates. We did get clarification on that. They are not 2 teammates, but they are running the exact same paint scheme. So you'll see that Azus Chevy Camaro. That paint's actually by Liam Brotherton, I'm being reported. And yeah, so you'll see those cars throughout the night. Just remember, they are not teammates, but they may work together, because your friends are definitely where you find them here. And we got a couple more cars pitting this lap. I believe Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Colt Ansley going to be 2 of those cars coming to pit lane. And Lauren McFadden actually in the wall. Here comes the cars ducking on off. That's going to be, Chris Mathis coming in very hot. I think he barely got it slowed down just in time. But it'll be Chris Mathis, Mitchell Goosens, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and Colt Ansley coming to pit lane right now. And the rest of those cars we've seen towards the front of the pack will stay out.
So, yeah, we have 4 cars this time by. It looks like the 19 is going to go right through the pit road without making a pit stop. So that's pretty interesting to note. I'm not sure what the issue there is exactly. He probably missed his pit box. He started tonight, looking at the entry list, he started the race tonight from the 19th position. So perhaps he wasn't expecting his pit box to be that early on pit road.
Yeah, quite possibly. And I did see him coming in very hot into pit lane, so it could have been a scenario of him getting a penalty and getting like a drive-through or something. I don't know, but definitely interesting strategy from there for Chris Mathis, because these cars can only go, like we mentioned earlier, about 17, 18 laps. You see him coming in hot there on the replay right there. Robert Pattengale actually just set one of the fastest laps on the track right now. So see him getting in there hot, and from my data that I had, he made pit speed, but he could have actually overshot that. I'm not too sure, but you see there's a couple cars blending out now that's actually going to be from that group. Mitchell Goosens being okay, so Chris Mathis missing the box there on the replay there. But back up at the front, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, still your leader with the help from Dustin Schwingle. Have no takers this lap. We're working lap 16 out of 25 in this stage, but Damaris Hickenbottom now looking to the outside with Christopher Lewis helping him. As you see Chris Mathis finally make it to his box. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is going to actually come in this lap. So you'll see the number 1 Napa Auto Parts in the blink of an eye. Okay, it looks like just about everybody might actually come to pit lane this time, because we got about 6 or 7 cars in this little group right here just drafting together. And they're really just trying to extend their gap before they actually have to pit on the rest of the field, because the rest of the field is kind of grouped up together.
Yeah, these guys are going for the undercut here right now, and it's a little bit difficult to determine how these guys are going to come out stacked compared to the rest of the field. As you said, Cole, I think they're not a massive pack, but they may be the biggest pack out there right now. About 7 of them strong, and the other biggest pack is about 6. Oh,
we have Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He completely overshot the actual pit entry. He got He got slowed up in time, but he locked his brakes up and went off in the grass. You see it on your screen there. But I don't know if iRacing will give him an unsafe pit entrance there or what. But yeah, definitely coming in hot. And then the 9 car, you see him overshoot his box, having to back up a little bit. That's Dustin Schwingle. Both of those cars leading the race early. Damaris Hickenbottom's also overshot his box. So this entire group having issues on the pit lane.
It looks like the only 2 cars are going to come out with relative quick pace. Oh, never mind. 3 are going to come out with each other near the front end of that group of cars. It's going to be Butcher Benjamin, Schwingle, Mario LaPinta, who's near the back end of the pack there. He's going to come out about 2 or 3 seconds ahead of the rest of these guys. Now we get to see with this other pack, 6 or 7 cars full head of steam, where they're going to come out compared to this pack that was leading in the mid stages of that stage. And right now, it looks like none of these guys are going to be able to keep up with the lead pack. LaPinta is going to make it a bit difficult for this group of about 6 or 7 cars. But going to the point, it's going to be Ryan Duke. We were talking about him earlier, and now he's right to the point.
Well, we actually just got a word from race control there. Nate Brooker had to pass below the yellow line, trying to, whoa, out of shape there, trying to let the number 13 of Mario LaPinta back by because he passed him below the yellow. And that is another thing we have not mentioned yet. The yellow line rule. Anywhere you go, Talladega or Daytona, a track above 2.5 miles, you will see that yellow line. That is out of bounds. You cannot pass below that, and we are enforcing that tonight. So you see a guy go below the yellow line, that will be enforced, and they will make sure that they give the spot back, or they will have to serve a drive-through penalty, I actually believe. May can get clarification from Nolan on that later on in the night, but looked like Stephen Parrott actually came out of that the best in this whole group. They got formed up really well, and they are now leading this race.
Yeah, I started waxing lyrical about how Ryan Duke came out to the point at the head of this lead pack here, but yeah, you were right, it was actually Stephen Parrott. But right now, we do have about 6 cars at the tail end, or at the front end of the field. Mario LaPinta, he was the best car out of that last pack to pit. He's just hanging on to the tail end of that slipstream right now. He stands about a second back from the leader right now, so I think he's going to be good to contend for the stage win here at the end.
Well, while we got a yellow. I was just about to go into well, what do we got here? We got an issued the number 9. That's going to be Dustin Schwingle. Not going bad to worse for him. You saw him overshoot his box earlier, and then they didn't really get up to speed coming out of pit lane. So some issue with the 9. Looks like contact with Damaris Hickenbottom. So we're going to look at that on your screen here. They are running together, and it looked like he tried to clear himself in front of Damaris, and they just got together. So
yeah,
it's going to throw Damaris down the pit lane. That's actually going to be a cleared penalty for him. And then somebody slammed into the 9 afterward, I believe.
So what happened in that second incident to avoid the 9, Christopher Lewis came up into the 23 of Robert Pattengale, and unfortunately both were collected in an incident where the 11 came up into the outside wall. The 9 also did get some damage as a result there. It's going to be a little bit difficult to determine the severity. It looked like they just swiped each other, but it was also a car only going about 30-40 miles an hour versus a car going 195. Yeah. So we're going to ride on board with Hickenbottom here.
Yeah, it looked like the 9 just came down, which he could have been trying to get clear, and I guess he thought he looked up in the mirror and thought he was clear, but I guess not. He didn't really realize how close Damaris actually was. Very easy thing to do here at Talladega. That can always happen. Riding on board Christopher Lewis here, swerves out of the way, so that might have actually been more of a netcode hit. Oh, there was a secondary crash there, too. That's the 23 of... Who is that? That is Robert Pattengale. So that's actually going to tear up the 11 quite a bit on the rear end. You see there, the number 111 not having a fortunate night for him. He fortunately missed the 9 car, maybe had a little bit of netcode between those two, but oh, there was another car that almost ran into that. That was Damaris Hickenbottom actually trying to get away from the first wreck. So while we got some time, let's go over our points here, since we finally get a little bit of break in the action to actually go over them. You see Stephen Parrott leading the points just by 2 points over Landon Durhold. And Landon Durhold, he hasn't won a race in the chase so far. He's got 2 wins on the season, but he's been very consistent. So you see him 2 points back. Next will be Jeremy Berger. And then 4th is going to be Nate Brooker, 2 wins on the season. He actually moved up 1 spot last week. Mario LaPinta lost 1 spot last week. Christopher Lewis gained 4 spots at Bristol. Sean Deal, Jeff Napier, they are both tied for the 7th spot currently. Ryder Schrauf, after having a he just did not have any luck in Bristol, and he's currently 9th in points. Damaris Hickenbottom, you see him missing Bristol. He lost 4 spots out of that. So he is currently 10th. And then Kyle Green's actually going to be 11th. So that's your top 11, or really just your chasers in the field. That's how they look. But definitely could switch up tonight because Talladega is just an absolute animal of a racetrack.
Oh, yeah. It's just very simply, it's a track that's sort of like, the slogan for Darlington. It's a track that's merely too tough to tame when you put, 20, 30 other cars out there, especially when you get the right combination of spoiler height, horsepower, aero package. It could just create a package where it makes it very easy to go 2 and 3 wide very consistently without any overheating with your water temperatures. And it just makes this product that lets you go all out for an entire race. And I think that's what we have with the current Cup package. It's very difficult to overheat the cars. The giant spoilers generate a lot of drag on the straightaways and a lot of downforce in the corners, which makes it quite easy to race side by side here.
Yeah, and well, while we got a little time here, we're going to take a short break, but we will be right back. And you are watching PitStop TV's coverage of the L-TAC Cup Series live from Talladega. All right, welcome back to the L-TAC Cup Series live from Talladega. We are currently under caution, but we're getting ready to go back for a 2-lap dash to end the stage. And just to set the stage for you, we got Stephen Parrott leading the race, teammate Ryan Duke to the outside, Logan Hamilton in the one of the Azus race cars. He is in the 3rd position. Mike Aiello Jr., you saw him pit one of the earliest cars out there to actually pit. He's going to be restarting 4th. And then Kyle Green will round out your top 5. So that's going to set the stage for a 2-lap dash, and we might see things get a little wild as they fight for the stage points.
Championship is always very critical. We're entering this is the 4th to last round, I believe. So we're definitely getting to the point where every point is going to matter for these guys here. And there's a lot to play here over 2 laps at Talladega.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of cars pit throughout the stage, and we did see a few cars pit early, so we'll have to see how close they actually are fuel-wise. They should be able to make it to the end now with the yellow coming out. But Kyle Green and Mike Aiello Jr., they both pitted very early on in the race, so we'll have to see how they are looking fuel-wise when they get to the stage. Both of those cars might actually have to come in at stage end, but right now, Stephen Parrott leading the field down to the restart zone. The restart zone is going to be a red line on the outside wall. You see it on your screen there, and we are away. Stephen Parrott off in the distance here. Ryan Duke going to try to file in behind him. I believe he's actually going to swing up and get in front of him. Doing a little bit of cat and mouse there, but the outside line, for the most part, did not have a good restart there. As you see Sean Deal leading the outside line, or lack thereof. He's going to tuck in behind the number 12 of Logan Hamilton now.
Overall, not a fan of that strategy from the top two here. They pulled out to about a half a second advantage of the rest of the field, but we're already seeing these guys start to gang up about a half a dozen cars or so, and already their momentum is setting up for the 69 and the 86 here, 96 rather, to get overtaken very easily off turn 4. Logan Hamilton is at the head of that pack right now, and I'm sure in that Asus machine, he's going to be looking to the outside off 4.
Now, the good part for the two cars out front, they are both Fords. The Fords do line up pretty well. If you're in a Camaro, it doesn't line up as well. Toyota's a little bit more okay on the side of things. You see Logan Hamilton making the move to the outside, though. No help for him, though. You see that's the pink car, Mike Aiello Jr. in the middle, trying to do anything he can. He's going to make it up to the outside. No, he tucks back in. Logan Hamilton blocking now, trying to get a run for him, but they cannot do anything. Kyle Green pushing the back end to Mike Aiello Jr. That middle line not formed whatsoever, really. Well, they got formed now, but it might be too late for him.
I think Aiello is trying too much to try to pull out ahead of the number 12 right now, and all the help behind him in Kyle Green, he can't do anything right now because they just very simply can't overtake the 12. Whoa, 94 shoots the 12 way up the track. He's going to go to the outside line. Not too much help here. It looks like the 69 and the 96 are going to cruise through the tri-oval, and the 69 of Stephen Parrott should be getting the stage win here if the 96 doesn't challenge.
Stephen Parrott takes the stage win. We had a bit of a photo finish there for third. That's actually going to be Sean Deal, though. So, stage 1 goes to Stephen Parrott, Ryan Duke second. I believe Mike Aiello Jr. actually got fourth out of that little drag race, and Sean Deal was third. And then fifth was Kyle Green. Sixth, maybe Landon Durhold. They are actually trying to catch the pace car right now.
Well, while we have official timing and scoring from iRacing, a lot of it is going to depend on where those cars were when the yellow flag came out, so there might be some slight discrepancies. Like you said, Landon Durhold is in the 6th position according to iRacing timing and scoring, followed by Logan Hamilton, Jeremy Berger, Mario Lapinta, and rounding out the top 10 is Lauren McFadden.
Well, we do not have Steven in here yet. I believe he might be trying to get in here, though, but if he gets in here, we'll pull him up for an interview. He actually swept all the stages last week at Bristol, so you see it on your screen there. You see the number 74, that's Mike Aiello Jr. actually pulling out to the outside of Sean Deal. I believe Kyle Green actually did get the spot from Landon Durhold, so it looks like Mike is not going to get there enough to get the third spot, so Sean Deal will get third in the stage. You see Jeremy Berger there on your screen. A couple more cars scrolling through the field here. But we do not have Steven in here, so to set the field here right now, we got Stephen Parrott leading, Ryan Duke second, Mike Aiello Jr. third, Sean Deal will be fourth officially, Kyle Green fifth, Landon Durhold sixth, Logan Hamilton seventh, Jeremy Berger eighth, Mario Lapinta is ninth, and his teammate Lauren McFadden will round out your top 10, as I believe a lot of these guys might actually choose to pit here.
I'm seeing most of the field looking below that crossed yellow line, or rather dotted yellow line, as we head down to the entry pit road. Stephen Parrott will lead the field down pit road. Looks like we don't have any guys staying out except for the cars that are currently lapped down, such as Mitchell Gossens, Damaris Hickenbottom, and Chris Mathis.
So just about everybody will come to pit lane here. It'll definitely be a little bit more routine. You might see some cars slide through the box because of how the brakes are on these cars as opposed to normally, because there's not as much brake, and they're a little more geared towards the rear for the super speedway cars, but it'll definitely be a lot more routine compared to what we're used to.
The other thing is, just because of how short these pit stops can be sometimes, with the limited fuel load, you're going to see guys more often take 2 tires as opposed to 4 just to save time. And as we watch the race off of pit road, it looks like the 69 is not going to come out at the head of the line. Ryan Duke will come out at the head, Michael L. Jr., Lauren McFadden, all out ahead of Stephen Parrott. And I believe we might have had one person stay out on the lead lap. Yes, Taylor Butcher Benjamin will stay on that one machine. He led the field to the green, and he's going to be back to the point here on the restart, it looks like, unless he's just looking for... No, he led laps earlier, so I don't think he'd be looking for that bonus point. 10 laps led already on the day, as you can see with our graphics. So just an interesting strategy call. He might be looking for the short pit here in the second stage, maybe.
Well, that will deny the shot for Chris Mathis and Damaris Hickenbottom to both get back on the lead lap. Actually, I believe No, never mind. I believe oh, no, Chris Mathis is 2 laps down. Never mind. I'm just being not smart tonight. So Chris Mathis 2 laps down. Damaris Hickenbottom 1 lap down. So both of those cars are going to get denied a shot at getting their laps back via the wave around. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin will lead unless he just decided to lead a lap trying to get towards the most laps led tally. But Ryan Duke will be second. Mike Aiello Jr. will be third. Lauren McFadden actually came out fourth on that. Could have possibly taken no tires or just 2 tires there on that stop. Then you'll find Stephen Parrott, your stage winner. He is fifth. And then you're going to find Kyle Green 6th, Landon Durhold 7th, Jeremy Berger 8th, Sean Deal 9th, Mario Lapinta 10th. So the characters in the top 10 haven't really changed. It's just their actual positions have.
I think that's going to be a case for the most of the day. What I tend to notice from Super Speedway action is most of the guys that like to race out front early do tend to be some of the more aggressive guys. So that doesn't necessarily mean these are going to be the guys that you see battling for the race win at the end of the race. Of course, if these guys are able to save that one fast repair, that could be enough to keep them into contention as long as they keep the car clean, going into the last stage here.
All right, so I believe we might be pulling someone in here for an interview. It might be the driver of the 1 car, if we can find him. All right. So, Taylor, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, so you're leading the race. What was really your strategy call there staying out that time?
Well, I just, the first caution, whenever they wrecked on lap 20, I just pitted back there because I'm not in this for points or stage points. I'm just here for the win, really. So just pitted back there and, made sure I got through this last 2 laps before the stage caution clean and decided to just stay out and try to keep track position.
All right, well, heading into this next stage, is the plan going to be try to pit early, or are you just going to try to ride it out and see what happens?
Probably, if things go the way I think they're going to, I think I'll probably just run it as far as I can. Feel like staying in front is the better thing to do, and, the best way to avoid the big one is to be in front of it, So hopefully the second stage will go like the first, we can get strung out and survive all the chaos later on.
All right, well, we'll let you get back up to driving your car there. Thanks for joining us up in the booth, and good luck out there.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, so that was Taylor Butcher Benjamin leading the race currently. He's got Ryan Duke to his outside, and Ryan Duke has been kind of the star of the show in the races we've really covered because he absolutely stole the win at the Roval, and then last week he led quite a few laps at Bristol. Towards the midpoint of the race was kind of mired back in traffic, but towards the end he got really quick and got up to the lead. Just the tire game did not go his way. His teammate actually ended up passing him on a last green-white checkered. So we will look to see when Taylor actually goes here. Like I said earlier, there is a restart zone they have to restart in. It's a little red stripe on the wall right after the Talladega sign you see in the trial. So anywhere after that is good to go green. We're coming past it now, and there goes Taylor Butcher Benjamin with the green flag back in the air.
No coordination with the 74 and getting back onto that loud pedal, and he's going to be out to a 0.2 of a second advantage as we head into the entry of turn 1 right now. Outside line did struggle quite a bit there. The 96 and the 82 of Lauren McFadden are going to hop down into the inside line, but we're seeing a lot of momentum in the mid-pack right now. Expect a couple guys to hop out of line here on the back straightaway.
Yeah, one of those cars hopping out of line. You see there, Landon Durhold in the Jim Cook Chevrolet GMC machine. He's going to be looking on the outside. There goes Stephen Parrott and Jeremy Berger, both to the outside. So we got 3 cars on the outside now trying to make something happen. Ryan Duke might jump in front of his teammate, not sure. You see the number 69 Badass Beer Carrier machine leading that top line. Lauren McFadden's going to make the move actually before Ryan Duke. That will shove Ryan Duke and force him on the bottom. Lauren McFadden's actually going to get hung out in the middle there.
Unfortunate for the 82, but again, it's a short stage. A long way to go here for the 82. Just going to hop to the tail end of the lead pack here, so no issues there. And yeah, the 96 and the 69 yet again are linked up right now on the outside line, and I think they're going to go right to the front this lap here, down the back straightaway. bumpers nearly locked. Bumpers, in fact, were locked off of the exit, and they're coming up pretty quickly on the one of Butcher Benjamin right now. Side by side, the question is, if the 96 gets the run, will he go to the bottom here on the entry of 3? Doesn't look like he gets the run there.
And that's the thing, iRacing actually kind of improved the side drafting physics on here, so you will see a little bit of that as we get through the night, but right now not much going on, kind of keeping the space between the two lines. It'll be interesting to see if anybody tries to make a third line. You see quite a bit of cars actually now formed on the outside line. About, I'm counting 7 cars formed on the outside line right now to about 10, or actually no, there's about 8 cars on the inside. We got 1 car making it 3 wide in the middle. That's going to be the number 19, Chris Mathis. He is a lap down, but he got everything squared away there. Got to the bottom. Mario Lapinta's the car in front of him. Now he's making it 3 wide again up the middle.
Looks like we're going to say, oh no, you say that, and we do go 3 wide. And the 19, pretty shocking to see an aggressive move like this right now. He is, although 2 laps down though. So, you know, we say this, maybe he gets to the lead of the pack and he gets 1 lap down when, as he continues to shove his way through the pack. Maybe he gets to the head of this lead pack, a yellow happens and he's only a lap down and he's able to get a wave round or a lucky dog and he's right back in the fight. Absolutely love to see this from the 19, and no one is playing around with the 19 right now. Don't want to risk your car for an aggressive lap car right now, seems to be the case.
Well, look at him go. He's all the way. We got a little bit of contact in the middle there. That was Lauren McFadden getting out of shape, but Chris Mathis has carried himself all the way to the lead, or the lead of the group in 1 lap, trying to make back one of those laps that he's got. He's got 2 to make up. Going to try to pull a 1985 Bill Elliott if he can, make up 2 laps under green. The outside line's actually kind of fizzled out because of the move Chris Mathis made. I heard Lauren McFadden actually was pretty irritated by the moves Chris was making, but as a lap car, you just got to get up. You got to get up there. You have to get those laps back, especially at a place like Talladega. You can make it back easily. You got to go for it. You see him pushing the 82 now, and that's a very risky thing to do, especially in the Camaro, because those bumpers do not line up at all.
You're definitely right there, even with all the improvements made by Chevrolet over the last couple of years to the Chevrolet Camaro in the NASCAR Cup Series. Still not great on the plate tracks here, and sometimes they do struggle across the board for performance. Although Elliott did win the All-Star race earlier this week in his Chevrolet Camaro. So right now that number 19 is second car on the outside line. You're right, he absolutely destroyed the momentum of the outside line, but in the least, we're starting to get form back up here. Lauren McFadden, as you said, was complaining over the radio about the 19, but now, I mean, has no choice except to work with the number 19 right now. They are going to fall off about 2 cars from the head of the pack right now. Aleo Jr. is continuing to push Butcher Benjamin right now, and they're pretty well synced up right now as we head into the trioval.
Yeah, Mike Aiello Jr. has actually had a bit of string of bad luck here recently. We saw him with bad luck at the Roval and then getting caught up in just incidents, not even of his doing at Bristol. So see the Pink Panther machine running second currently. The number 74 Ford Mustang, or 74 Ford Mustang, that's a tongue twister and a half right there. You see him pushing the back of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, and they definitely do still have to pit. We're working lap 35, so I definitely expect these guys to be in the pit lane within the next about 5 to 7 laps.
The big thing is, Cole, is that we have entered.
Whoa, we got trouble!
Oh.
Lauren McFadden's around. We got the big one happening. Ryan Duke's in that. I believe Robert Pattengale. We got a lot of carnage. Lauren McFadden was the first car to go around, and I believe that was actually off the bumper of Chris Mathis. So Race Control might not be happy with that number 19 if he was the cause of that.
Definitely not, and we're going to see Lauren McFadden hit the escape button, and that car is back down pit road. It didn't seem like the car had terminal damage, but it just could be frustration from that lap car, and I mean, it wouldn't be, out of question. So we're going to watch the replay here and see that the 82 commanding the outside line, see if he maybe gets an awkward push from the 19. I think the issue comes from the 82 being about a half a line up and then starting to come down a little bit. Could have been avoided probably on both parts. Oh, the 23 absolutely destroys the outside wall. Pattengale is probably going to have to go for a quick repair, but I think he might have had to use one earlier, so that could be race over already on lap 31.
Okay, we're looking on the onboard of Ryan Duke here. We do have 1 car being warned of reckless driving. You see Jeremy Berger and Ryan Duke both getting out of shape. Ryan Duke, nothing he could have done there. Same with Robert Pattengale. Both of those cars just unfortunate. 19's going to get a drive-through penalty, so Chris Mathis, night going bad to worse, he will get a drive-through penalty for reckless driving. And you see it on the inside there. He makes it up the middle, just turns Lauren McFadden, nowhere to go for the rest of these guys. You see the teammates there get together. And that was actually Stephen Parrott trying to shoot the gap. Him and Ryan Duke both trying to shoot the gap. The hole closed up at the wrong time, and both of those teammates will get together. And I believe Chris Lewis actually got involved there. So the 111, the points leader is actually involved in this well. So that's the thing about Talladega. Points are a huge implication here. No matter what incident you get in, points are always a factor at this racetrack.
Oh yeah, and here we are, only 15 laps at the end of the stage, and a lot of these guys might be out of contention for stage points, and if not worse, the massive amount of points that you can get for a good finish at the end of a race right now. So here we're riding on board with Landon Derhold. We're going to see he's going to be one of about half a dozen cars or so, and I think he absolutely destroys the front end of that car. Probably going to have to go for a faster repair for the 94 of Derhold right now. Haven't talked about it too much, and he struggled a lot today. We saw Pattingale absolutely destroy the safer barrier on the exit of turn 4. So here we're going to get an onboard shot looking at him. See the initial contact from the gyro camera, and there, front of the car hits the outside safer barrier.
Yeah, unfortunate for Robert Pattingale. Not sure if he will get that fast repair, but Lauren McFadden has disconnected, so that's going to be him done in this race. Quite a big wreck here at Talladega. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. The big one is always a case here. This was kind of a small one, though. That was only about 6 or 7 cars, which in a 20-car field, that could be considered a big one, but that was routinely a small one here for Talladega.
Going to have to agree with you, and even in terms of this race, I think that's going to be a small one here. I personally am expecting a pretty massive wreck here at the end of the second stage right now, because these guys are going to be full on fuel, don't have to worry about strategy, and they're going to have a lot of time to race it out here. Expect about, I don't know, 11 or 12 laps here at the end of the stage to go to the end.
Well, we haven't mentioned them all night, but both of the Hamiltons have now joined the party here up in the lead. Logan Hamilton leading the field. Bobby Hamilton Jr. second place. Running the Kodak Advantix car once again. Talked about that a little bit at the Roval. It ran the 1999 Daytona 500, so always cool to see that paint scheme. It's got the number 4 that Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s dad carried on it tonight, so pretty cool to see that paint scheme out here. We got some blinking issues with the number 12, so race control may do something about that. Not too sure, but these guys are going to come to pit lane, possibly.
We are seeing the 12 and the 4 head down pit road. Probably, if I'd have to guess, looking to top off here, maybe they didn't come down pit road the first time. Not entirely sure.
Well, they could have been on the same strategy there, try to get a lap led, but we have a report that both of the Hamiltons got enter and close pits. We do have a quickie yellow. A quickie yellow is iRacing standard for Talladega. It used to be a 5-lap yellow. It is now a 3-lap yellow, as we will go green this lap. So you have 1 lap for everybody to catch up. You have a 2nd lap for everybody to pit, and then the 3rd lap will be the 1 to green lap. So that's basically what a quickie yellow is. It used to be 5 laps here on the service. So definitely helps out in the long run with yellows. It gets everybody grouped back together. But Taylor Butcher Benjamin will retain your race lead. And then Dustin Schwingle, we talked about him missing his pit earlier, getting caught up in that wreck. He's back up to the 2nd spot. Kyle Green 3rd, Nate Brooker 4th, and Mike Aiello Jr. will be 5th.
Just to talk a little bit more about the quickie yellow, you're right, Cole. It just got introduced at the start of this new iRacing season, and it's really changed the game. We've seen it used in official racing in the NASCAR Legends Series with cars from the 1987 NASCAR Winston Cup season, including the Ford Thunderbird and the Chevrolet Monte Carlo, I believe. But yeah, it's very fun for casual racing, whether it be on the hosted side. It really helps at these big tracks, whether it be Pocono Raceway, Talladega, Michigan, Daytona. It just really helps increase competition when we have more green flag laps out there.
Yeah, iRacing introduced that for all tracks over, I believe the cutoff was 2 miles in length, excluding road courses. So we definitely do have it for Daytona and Talladega. And you did mention the 87 cars. Those have been a very fun thing to have on the service. And really just this season of iRacing has been fun. What a season on iRacing is, it's about every 12 weeks, 12 or so weeks. I believe this season's actually 13. There's a leap year every once in a while where we have a 13-week season. But I completely lost my train of thought. But basically, we have 12 weeks, and then we get a week 13, and then after week 13 is when everything switches. So we're in the middle of season 3 for 2020, but we're getting ready to go back to the restart here. Taylor Butcher Benjamin leading your field to the green. The 9-car Dustin Schwingle to the outside. Kyle Green will be helping that number 1 Napa Auto Parts machine. But Taylor said he doesn't need it. He's going to go a little bit early here. Don't know if I really like that strategy call because he could get too far out there. And that outside line, if they get formed up, they could jump on him. But you see Taylor now kind of blocking that outside line.
Definitely going to have to agree with you, Cole. I think we've seen it on about every start here so far with the top 1 or 2 cars get out to way too much of an advantage. In my opinion, it just makes them, absolute dead meat once you get to the back straightaway. Just where they have so much stalled momentum because they're causing so much drag from the massive spoilers. And we're seeing it already. 2 cars to the outside line. Looks like Kyle Green and Nate Brooker looking to the outside. No help behind them, but there's only 4 cars on the inside, so they may have a run here as we come through the tri-oval. And we might see the 9 get a lap led here.
I've been informed that the proper term is what Dale Jr. said in last fall's Talladega broadcast, but I'm not going to say it here. So if you want to go check that out, you can on YouTube. Just you'll know what we're talking about. But Taylor Butcher Benjamin with the giant spoiler blocking Kyle Green's view. He is leading the field right now. Mike Gallo Jr. sticking strong on the inside with these 2 guys. And then Jeremy Berger, we haven't really talked about him much. He's up to, I believe that's the 6th position now. And then yellow Menards Duracell Platinum machine. You usually see Ryan Blaney driving that car. Maybe trying to go for a little luck. You've seen Ryan Blaney win the last 2 Talladega races. So, but I do want to talk about the package real quick because this package has been edited since the season began. They switched packages for the real world race because of the accident with Ryan Newman. So out with the old aero ducts on the front end. You will see the aero ducts on the 1.5 tracks, but you will not see them here. A little bit of horsepower, I think, was actually taken out of the cars. Not too sure, but cars have been slowed down a little bit. We were hitting 205 last fall with these cars and the plate package. Now I'm seeing top speeds of just about over 200. So about 5 miles an hour of a difference, and you'll see that difference really in the corners.
And honestly, Cole, I think we see a very similar package, but we just reduce a little bit of that top speed, and we're just reducing a little bit of those dangerous closing rates where we saw that incident with Ryan Newman. That was almost nearly, very unfortunate. But, we all got away from Daytona, and we learned from it, and we were able to adjust the package. And we had an absolutely entertaining product at Talladega, and we have a pretty entertaining product here, even with about 15 cars or so right now battling it out right now. We have about 17 cars on the lead lap right now. Outside line still struggling to form. Same 2 are at the top of the board on the outside line. That's the 9 and the 6, respectively. Nate Brooker, Dustin Schwingle, struggling right now, but they're going to have a bit of a run down the back straightaway. Let's see how many cars they can grab.
I do want to mention Mitchell Goosen, who I appropriately made the pun that he was goosing it last week at Bristol. He's goosing it once again here down the back straightaway, trying to help this outside line go. He's got help from the number 12. That's going to be Logan Hamilton. You see the 2 cars that are teammates on the inside, the last 2 race winners, Stephen Parrott and Ryan Duke. They're trying to work their way back to the front. Sean Deal now making his way up through the field once again. He's helping Jeremy Berger on that inside line. Looks like the outside line, though, kind of fizzling out.
Yeah, it is starting to struggle here. I'm expecting it at this point to probably die off here for a couple of laps, but expect to... Oh, never mind. I say that right now. They're alongside the 46 of Berger right now. Just to talk a little bit more about Jeremy Berger, in that last incident that collected a few guys, including the 82 of Lauren McFadden, he got clipped in the right rear side and almost got hooked, but he was able to save the car. I think we caught that on a replay, but I'm not sure if we mentioned it or not, so just wanted to give a shout out there for a very impressive save. And just as we were saying, it looks like the outside line is starting to stall. Here again comes Schwingle, accompanied by that 6 of Nate Brooker with his number a little bit closer to the rear of the door.
Yeah, the all-star style that everybody at first complained about, but now everybody kind of enjoys. I know after seeing it Wednesday night, it was very nice to see. So I'm kind of a fan of moving the numbers back a little bit. I do like the traditional in the middle of the door, but hey, if we go that direction, that's fine by me because it looks well when done right, and the 6 car has definitely done it right. But you see that line actually making a move to the outside now. Nate Brooker trying to peek out a little bit on board with Mitchell Goosen's there. Can't get in line, though. Nate Brooker can't get in line, that is. But the 9 car, Dustin Schwingle, going to go back to the lead here. Mitchell Goosen helping Nate Brooker on the top side.
The stalling of the momentum seemed to come when the 46 of Jeremy Berger bailed out of the inside line on the back straightaway. And right now, we are starting to see the inside form back up a little bit more, but only 4 cars are pretty tightly formed right now. And honestly, you don't need that many cars on the outside line to contend with the inside line, as we're seeing right now. There's only about 3 cars that are pretty tightly compacted on the outside line, currently led by Nate Brooker, I believe. Yes, Nate Brooker on the outside. And he is joined yet again, it appears. Oh, that is not the 19. I'm sorry. Again, we have those similar-looking Asus schemes. It's Logan Hamilton in the 5th position right now. They're side-by-side with the top 2 on the inside.
Yeah, easiest way to tell the difference is the 19 has a white number with a black outline, and then the 12 car has kind of an aqua colored outline in between the black and white on the numbers. So easiest way I found to tell them apart, they're 2 different number fonts as well. So pick your poison which way you want to tell them different, but it has been a little bit harder to tell them apart, and I'm glad I'm not a spotter on this track. I know a few of the guys in here do have spotters, but definitely could be a little bit harder for them to try to tell which car is which. But you see Nate Brooker hanging strong on the outside line, Logan Hamilton behind him, and I believe Stephen Parrott's actually joined those guys up on the top line. Landon Durhold coming through there as well.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of momentum on the outside, and I think if you are Nate Brooker, I do think you want to absolutely control that outside line until we get to the white flag. I just don't like the idea of it being the inside car, the leading inside line car on the white flag, just because so much can go wrong and you're on the defensive. At least when you're on the outside line, you're on the offensive. But now we see the 1 go on the offensive right now. Taylor.
Whoa, we got trouble. Nate Brooker in the grass. Turned around. I believe Logan Hamilton made a little move to the inside, got on the left side, turned him around. A little bit less damage caused there than last time, but we're going to get the replay on your screen here. You see Taylor Butcher Benjamin makes the move to the outside. Logan Hamilton goes for the middle there. I believe he just got on the left side trying to help the 6 car out, turns him. That gets the 76 of Kyle Green as well. So those 2 cars go to the inside. Just absolutely slams into the cone. So we need a new cone out there, because we have destroyed plenty over the season. But you see Logan Hamilton, you see the number 12 pushing Nate Brooker there. The 1 will move up here. I believe Nate Brooker kind of makes a reaction move to help him. You see the 12 dive down, trying to make that reaction move with the 6. Just gets barely on the left side. Unfortunately, turns him around. And I believe Nate and Kyle still have their fast repairs. There you see the cone getting hit through the Arca Menards sign in the grass. Those cars should have their fast repairs, though, and will get back on the racetrack.
These guys are still starting to gather themselves up with the car behind the pace car, or rather the field behind the pace car, excuse me there. It looks like the 6 does have quite a bit of left front and left rear damage, so as long as he has that fast repair, he'll be good to go. If not, I don't think he has suspension damage. Looking to, I believe it was it the 76 that also got involved? Oh yeah, the 76 is missing the front end of his car. No front bumper, no manufacturer identity for the 76 right now. Hopefully he has a fast repair. He's going to be very dearly down on pace.
Yeah, any damage here at Talladega could hurt your car, but 76, though, had the front end taken off. And he's looking a bit like the modifieds last week that we saw, because we had about 3 or 4 modifieds in the top 5 last weekend at Bristol. But here, having your front end gone will not help whatsoever.
So used to seeing the modified class in bottom split, but yeah, I mean, we saw it in L-TAC last week, and I mean, it was an incredible show at Bristol. I caught the back end of it, very exciting finish. A lot of calamity, but I think that's almost expected here on the iRacing service at Bristol. But yeah, you're right though. Kyle Green right now, no front end. I believe he might. No, he's on the lead lap, so I have to wonder why he's deciding to stay out right now and not look for that pit road time to get damage repairs taken care of.
There could be the possible chance that pit road was not open. Some of those guys may be entering early with the pits closed. Not too sure, though. Pace car is still got its lights on, so he could come down this time. Not sure. But to reset it for you right now, the leader is Taylor Butcher Benjamin in the 1. We've seen him up front all night long. Dustin Schwingle second. Third is going to be Logan Hamilton. Fourth, Mike Aiello Jr. Stephen Parrott, and I think I actually just realized why the 76 might be staying out, because we were pretty close to the stage end there. We're on lap 48, and stage end will be at lap 50. So I think this should be the end of the stage, possibly, not too sure, but based on the pace car still having its lights on and coming to lap 49, I believe we will end the stage here.
That depends. I believe the stage end is at the completion of lap 50. So I'm not sure what the series rules are about like 1 to green restarts for stages, but we might get a restart here if we get the 1 to green this time.
So we'll have to see what the pace car does. You see Taylor Butcher Benjamin leaning towards the inside
one lap
there.
sprint confirmed by race control.
All right, so we will have a 1-lap sprint to end this stage then. You see, so Kyle Green going to stay out. Kind of a bold move here. He will end up losing spots, I believe, with the damage, unfortunately, but I think he's just doing this so he doesn't really have to go ahead and take that fast repair in case something happens.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him here. But again, he could be, well, not again, but rather to introduce a new, point of topic. He could be looking for a yellow right off the restart, and perhaps he's able to keep a point or a position in the top 10 if there's something that happens right off the initial restart coming through the restart zone. So again, I don't think it's, a massive loss here to stay out with that damage, like you said, Cole.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold strategy indeed, because really there's not much to gain from it, but there's not much to lose from it either, having that damage on that race car. So we'll just have to see how it works out for him. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, though, if he gets hopped up like he has been on these restarts, he can definitely get the stage win.
Definitely, Cole. And I just talk a little bit more about, looking forward to this 1-lap shootout here. Honestly, like, looking at the entire top 5, it's guys we've been talking about the entire day. So I'm absolutely enthralled to see the end of this race. Have a little bit more time to talk about a couple of guys in the field. Chris Mathis, who caused that earlier incident, he's already back to about 1 lap down, so he's probably going to get the lucky dog here at the end of the stage, and we're going to be right back to 17 cars on the lead lap here. Couple of guys that did pit that time include Damaris Hickenbottom, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Colt Ansley. They're going to line up 14th, 15th, and 16th, respectively, at the back end of the lead lap. Might have missed about 1 or 2 other guys that did pit that time.
Yeah, and I want to look at guys like Logan Hamilton. We saw him, unfortunately, get into the 6 of Nate Brooker that time, but he could definitely win this stage. We saw him win 2 of the stages at the Roval. Unfortunately, came up short in the end because of a 2-tire strategy. Didn't pay off for him. That win went to Ryan Duke, who took 4 on the last pit stop. But Logan Hamilton's shown that he can win stages. Same with Stephen Parrott. He swept the stages last week, winning 1, 2, and the race as a whole. So Stephen Parrott could definitely steal a stage here if he wants to, but he'll have to shape up in the next lap, because we're getting ready to take the green.
Parrott's definitely going to need that outside line to stall very badly on the restart, I think. And he's going to need to be able to pop out on the back straightaway, rather, as the lead car on the outside, and maybe he has a chance. So we come to the restart zone. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, he's on the loud pedal, green flag in the air, outside struggles a bit on the restart. Benjamin's going to get out to a 0.2 of a second lead as we head into the entry of turn 1. Actually, the 12 of Hamilton's going to be right on his rear bumper, so I have to wonder if we're going to have a pretty anticlimactic stage finish here, because right now the outside line's really struggling. And I think the 76 is going to stall a run from the mid-pack.
I think Mike Aiello Jr. might be the first man to make a move. There goes Logan Hamilton actually making the move to the outside, trying to block Mike Aiello Jr. They're going to gang up around the 1 car, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Stephen Parrott up to help the 1 car, 2 car tandems you see on your screen there. We might actually be setting up for a photo finish in the stage, because this is the end of stage 2. We will run 44 laps, green flag to the end of this. Taylor Butcher Benjamin looks to the outside. Mike Aiello Jr. blocks him. Might get the stage win here through the tri-oval. Stephen Parrott to the inside. Whoa! And they are crashing. That was the 12 car crashing at the end of the stage. So the 69 and the 12 both wrecked there.
Stage under review according to race control there. Absolute calamity at the restart. Excellent job by Mike Aiello Jr. to get that stage win, I think. It's a little hard to determine early on, But I think there was netcode between the 69 and the 12. Regardless, absolutely bull move by Parrott to try to go for the inside line there. 74 is going to lead it at the line, and it looks like the only major casualty in terms of damage is going to be the 12 of Logan Hamilton, unfortunately.
Yeah, Logan Hamilton nosing hard into that fence. You see him actually get stuck in the fence, unfortunately. So that will be a tow for the number 12 Azus Chevrolet Camaro Z01. But you see Mike Aiello Jr. making a brilliant move to the outside. Once we get the view back here, Stephen Parrott got to the inside, and Logan tried to protect the bottom just a little bit, and unfortunately turned him. So not much they could have done there. They were just fighting hard for some stage points.
So we're going to go on board with Parrott here and get a little bit better of an idea as to whether or not there was netcode. Slowed down that camera here, looking to the inside. Currently alongside that left rear quarter panel. They're looking close enough right now, but he's going to have to dip a little bit below that yellow line. Honestly, it's hard to determine if there's actual contact or not from that angle, because it looked like he might have, scraped that left side, but it also looked like it might have been a little bit of netcode in a really awkward spot for netcode to happen.
Yeah, I think Steven might have a little bit of right front damage. Not going to hurt in the end there, though. But I believe Mike Aiello Jr. was your stage winner, and we're going to actually get an interview with him right now during the stage break. We move him up in here. Mike Aiello Jr., you got a copy?
I sure do. How you doing today?
Well, you kind of stole a stage win there. Take us through that last one-lap shootout there.
Well, the Bay Racing Race MLR 74 is just fast, lightning fast. And so we were just setting them up, and never want to be in the lead coming to the checkered flag here. So I made sure that I was in second and I could get that draft run around them.
Yeah, we saw the two leaders there that you were actually running around. They both wrecked. What's going to be the game plan to survive this last stage? Because you guys, I believe, will have to make 1 or 2 stops here. So what's really going to be your plan to try to stay out front and survive to the end here?
Yeah, it's just stay clean, and we'll be fine.
All right. Well, do you got anybody to thank for your stage win?
I want to thank Karen, thank my mom. They do a great job. Karen spots and takes care of all the crew chiefing for me, and my mom's biggest fan.
All right. Well, hopefully we're talking to you at the end here, Mike, and have fun driving that Pink Panther machine out there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, so that was Mike Aiello Jr., stage winner of Stage 2 here at Talladega, and we're setting up for a 44-lap shootout to the end here. And, Trey, I think this is when things will get wild. We haven't seen them get too crazy. We've seen a couple incidents tonight, but I think things will definitely hit the fan in this last stage. Everybody's going to be going for it.
I definitely think when we get to the end of this race, we're going to see a field absolutely battered and beaten, sort of like Bristol last week, or, like we've seen in Cup Series action with the current play package, where some guys, only a couple of guys make it to the end of the race without any damage here. I mean, we're already looking at about 16 guys still in contention on the lead lap. So we've only lost 4 cars so far, but just the fact that we've gotten to this mental point where you're saying, okay, this is it. This might be the last yellow flag. We're going to see guys that are going to push it. Definitely going to see at least one more big one, in my opinion. But we could very easily also see a fuel strategy run to the end of the race.
Well, while we got some time, let's take us through PitStop TV's sponsors tonight. We're going to start off with Permanent Makeup in Maine. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Here at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Boyer, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. If you're looking for the best solutions for your PMU concerns, give us a call today to book a consultation. You can contact us at Permanent Makeup in Maine, or call or text us at 207-358-8683. Once again, that is 207-358-8683. If you visit our Facebook page, Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, you will see that we do monthly giveaways. And if you submit your entry, who knows, you might just win. And Trey, why don't you take us through what Whiplash Media is?
Of course. So, Whiplash Media, PitStop TV's new parent organization, Whiplash Media, specializes in various sim racing resources including bait schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and much more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real-world motorsports, such as photography, social media management, and public relations. Go to whiplash-media.com.
All right. Well, the lights will be on. The toilet paper will be supplied. So I don't think Trey Patton has to worry about anything going away too soon, because we were joking about that at Bristol last weekend, but it was a serious cause. But Taylor Butcher Benjamin going to restart us here for stage 3. He's going to have Dustin Schwingle to his outside. Landon Durhold, you see him in 4th. Mario Lapinta has actually jumped up to the 3rd spot. So good job by Mario getting his way back through the field after kind of slipping back throughout the race. Mitchell Goosens will be 6th. Jeremy Berger 5th. I know I'm going a little out of order here, but calling it as I see it. I believe Sean Deal will actually be 7th. Ryan Duke 8th. 9th is going to be Damaris Hickenbottom. And rounding out your top 10 for this final stage will be Kyle Green.
Just looking a little bit farther down the leaderboard here, we have Mike Elio Jr., I believe. Sorry if I got that pronunciation. Aiello. Thank you. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. He'll line up 11th position on the restart. Stephen Parent, P12. Bobby Hamilton Jr., he'll be 13th. Colt Ainsley, 14th. 15th, Nate Brooker. Chris Mathis, he's back in the lead lap this time by 16th position, and Logan Hamilton is 2 laps down in 17th. Well, Cole, we're coming out of 4 here. How are you feeling looking with about 40 laps to go here when we take the green flag?
I honestly think we might be a little settled right now, but once everybody gets into a rhythm here and we get closer to 20 to go, I think things will ramp up, because the intensity always ramps up here at Talladega. It doesn't matter if you're doing a full-length race, a half-distance race like we are here tonight, or if it's just a short race with your buddies. The intensity is always up at Talladega, and the speeds are always up. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin is going to lead us to what we look to see is going to be a wild final stage here at Talladega. Green is in the air for stage 3 tonight. Taylor Butcher Benjamin gets a good jump over Dustin Schwingle. Like we said, though, that's not the best thing to do. Dustin Schwingle going to get a run possibly. He's got help from Landon Durhold, the outside line, actually having a great restart that time.
In fact, we're at the point, honestly, where like these guys might have an absolutely massive run down the back straightaway. And I've just been informed, and it's an absolutely excellent point, that we're right on the cusp of seeing potentially 1-stop battles versus 2-stop battles in terms of pit stops going to the end of the race here. I think you said, Cole, that full field run is like 15 to 18 laps. Well, we restart with 40 laps to go. So maybe some guys figure out strategies that let them do very aggressive fuel saving, and maybe they're able to save the stop here.
Yeah, possibly. It will definitely come down to fuel mileage in the end, possibly. Sometimes we do see plate races go that way. The Daytona 500 has definitely gone that way a couple times, and we've seen a couple Talladega races get into that kind of vibe. 2015 Fall Talladega to be one. That was almost a fuel race in the end, because Greg Biffle had about a 20-second gap over everybody else, and then the caution came out. So it'll definitely come down to when the yellows fall in this final stage, if any do fall, and when these guys do make their pit stops.
That's what we absolutely love about oval racing, is the unpredictability and just the fact that a yellow can happen at any time, and it can happen quite frequent or infrequently. That's just the beauty and the unpredictability of oval racing, especially with stock cars, especially when you get a bunch of them at Talladega Superspeedway, where the calamity is almost guaranteed. Coming out of turn 4, it looks like Butcher Benjamin looking to the outside. Doesn't have help right on his rear bumper, but I think he's going to have support coming through the tri-oval in Darhold. So we come to complete lap 56. Number 9 is Schwingle. He's going to lead the field at the line, but I think the outside line is going to have a massive run once we get down the back straight.
Well, Landon Durhold, he always finds his way to the front. The Jim Cook Chevrolet Cadillac GMC number 94, or no, that's actually Chevrolet Buick GMC, my bad. So while I get the manufacturers wrong, you see that machine on the outside. It was just a black and gray car the last time we saw it. Now it's got the AC Delico colors all over the side with the black and white team still. But he's making the outside work. He's got Mitchell Goosens behind him. Mario Lapinta on the inside of him. Damaris Hickenbottom making a move 3 wide now. 2 Fords surrounding a Chevy. And we got a primarily Chevy top 4 right here. So the number 9, Dustin Schwingle, trying to make it work on the outside. Can't get it done that lap. That lap will go to the number 1 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Landon Durhold looking even higher, trying to stay on that right side of the bumper for the 9 car. Doesn't want to hook him like we saw earlier with the 12 car hooking the number 6. And speaking of the number 6, he's actually in the back of the top line you see on your screen there. He's helping Mitchell Goosens, that green and or it's almost like a mint-colored machine. He's helping the 29 Mitchell Goosens on the outside, who's helping Damaris Hickenbottom and Landon Durhold. So I believe the intensity has definitely picked up a little bit.
We're seeing a lot of guys not giving as much as they were taking earlier right now. And we're continuing to see the 1 and the 9 continue to swap the lead right now. Put Butcher Benjamin out to the lead of the outside line yet again. And just 1 lap ago, we saw Mitchell Goosens. He was the lonesome car on the outside line, but he was able to get himself settled back in there. He's currently running P8 onto the entry of Turn 1. And yet again, making his presence known is James Berger. I may have gotten his first name wrong. Still getting a little familiar here. Jeremy Berger, thank you. He's running 3rd car on the inside line, running P5 right now. And I think he's starting to make his presence known. Cole, you said it. He's running that Ryan Blaney-inspired paint scheme. And I think, it struck luck at Talladega recently. Maybe it could be it tonight.
Yeah, I think if you're in a Ryan Blaney car, you got a pretty good shot here anymore. It's not the 12 car, but, I mean, hey, maybe just the paint scheme works. Another car I want to mention, though, Chris Mathis, he's actually at the tail end of this. Well, he's kind of more getting close to the mid pack. We see 3 wide for the lead. Chris Mathis actually going around, saves it. No, and Colt Ansley. Mike Aiello Jr., Colt Ansley, both hard into the fence there. That was caused by Chris Mathis actually getting out of shape and them checking up. So we'll have to check out the replay here of that one. Hard hits for the number 74 and 86 there. You see Chris Mathis duck to the inside. Very erratic move. Don't know what happened there exactly, but you see him trying to save it. Colt Ansley gets up in the fence, loses control of the car, going to come back, get Mike Aiello Jr., unfortunately. And those 2 cars go hard into the outside fence.
Fortunately, it's only going to collect 2 cars with severe damage, but unfortunately, it's 2 cars that have been considerably strong today, especially the 74 of Aiello Jr. And I think he might be in a scenario where he already uses fast repair. It's a little difficult to keep track of everyone, but I believe he was involved in an earlier incident. Going to get one more replay from a little bit more of a pleasant perspective here. And I think we're going to see that the 19, he gets shot, absolutely shot in the rear by the 86 there. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to necessarily say karma came as a result of that, but I mean, that's sometimes just the price you have to pay when you're aggressive like that for Colt Ansley.
And another thing is, we mentioned it earlier, the Camaro bumpers do not line up. So Colt Ansley could have had a really big run, tried to give a help to the 19. Actually, I think that outside line checked up a little bit, but Colt Ansley just got into the back of the 19 there. Unfortunately, turned him sideways. Great save, though, by Chris. Forgot his name. Sorry about that. Chris Mathis. There's too many Christophers in here, and I'm trying to pick the right one. Chris Mathis, so great save in the middle there. You see him from Mike Aiello Jr.'s point of view, and then just turned into the outside wall by Colt Ansley, unfortunately. So the number 74 Ford Pink Panther machine going to bring it to pit road with heavy damage, along with the 86 of Colt Ansley.
Yeah, I think that Pink Panther paint scheme might be tranquilized here tonight. We're going to have to see here as he rolls into his pit box. He's going to go up on the right side. I think he puts on that fast repair.
Yep, so Mike Aiello Jr. will get a new car. And really, 3rd stage is the first time to do it. We see Kyle Green used his because he's got a front end now. A lot of 2 cars have stayed out. Was Damaris Hickenbottom and Dustin Schwingle. So they will take the race lead away from these guys. Taylor Butcher Benjamin going to be 3rd. Ryan Duke 4th. Nate Brooker 5th. 6th will be Chris Mathis, who we saw get all out of shape. He actually got the rear end damage of his car fixed. Sean Deal's going to be 7th. And then Landon Durhold should be, I believe. No, it's actually going to be Jeremy Berger 8th. And then Landon Durhold 9th. And 10th will be Kyle Green.
Just looking a little bit farther back here, Steven Parrott still in contention. It looks like he's currently sat 11 on the leaderboard, rather. And then looking a little bit behind him, Mitchell Goosen's still out there. Mike Aiello Jr., I believe he comes off of pit road this time. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right behind him. Colt Ansley, he's currently not being scored with timing and scoring on the track, I don't think. Looking down on pit road, he's still down there, so I have to assume he used a fast repair a bit earlier. And then Robert Pattengale is also in the box, although he is also 24 laps down. Rolling off of pit road, Mario LaPinta. That car looks pretty clean here. He's going to come out of pit road. He's still on the lead lap.
Yeah, the Dick Insider Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 coming off pit lane there. And you see Mario's actually had a little bit of luck. He ran well at Bristol last week. Unfortunately, got caught up in some incidents. Cole Ansley still on the pit lane there, you see. And we got a few wall shots there for you. Watching the field drive by. A bunch of beautiful paint schemes here for Talladega. I expected a lot of the good paint schemes to be last week while we were under the lights, but they brought them out in full force here at Talladega.
Oh, my apologies there. Okay, so it looks like we're going to end up getting the one to go here. Dustin Swingle and Demaris Hickenbottom are currently lined up on the start of the front row, and here we're going to be looking at about 32 laps to go here, and that puts us where we're still looking right on the cusp of, I think, 1 or 2 stops here.
Yeah, I definitely think this will throw a wrench in the strategy sort of things, because we're working lap 62 of 94 right now, so we've got just about 30 laps to go, and I think that is right on the edge of the fuel window, because that could be about 2 16-lap runs at most, I believe. Or not 2 16-lap. Well, I don't know. Yes, 2 16-lap runs. I cannot math tonight. Sorry about that. While we're looking at the cars here, you can see our weather for today. We got air temp of 79 degrees. Clear skies. Track temp's going to be a hot 119, so the cars might be a little slicker. Wind from the southeast at about 4 miles an hour, and we are located in good old Talladega, US of A. So, race info, we've had 6 cautions for 15 laps and 14 lead changes. And you would think that we would actually have more. I believe we're at about the Bristol number for lead changes, but that number will definitely spike as we go later in the stage.
I think after what we saw at Talladega Superspeedway in the NASCAR Cup Series, that is a little bit underwhelming. But yeah, definitely, we still have about a third of the race to go here. So I definitely expect to see that number probably in the mid-20s, could even see up to 30 lead changes here. Probably a lot going to happen, especially if we get into a green flag pit cycle. Definitely likely. Depends how nice these guys want to play here in the early stages.
Yeah, and we definitely could see him not play nice at all. Dustin Schwingle going to lead us to the green. We talked about that restart zone that's right after the Talladega sign in the tri-oval. And Dustin Schwingle will go sometime after that. He might elect to actually wait till the green actually comes out. A lot of guys on the service do that just so they don't get too far out there. 9 car is actually going. I don't know if he knows that he wasn't in the restart zone, but he went very early there. So race control will probably have to have a look at it. Drive-through penalty for the 9 car. Drive-through penalty for the 9 car. That's going to be for jumping the restart. Taylor Butcher Benjamin will be your race leader once this cycle's out. And Ryan Duke's going to actually help him. So Ryan Duke back up to the front. Chris Mathis. Look at Chris Mathis. He has made it to the front. He was 2 laps down trying to pull the Bill Elliott, and he is now in this battle for the lead.
It looks like he doesn't have too much help right now. He's going to put himself 3rd car on the inside line right now. Of course, the pack is still starting to form up a little bit yet, but, we keep talking about him both in positive and negative light because he's been involved in a couple of incidents. The one, was a fault of his own. The other, he saved the car pretty effectively. So, he's making his presence known here, and that we've seen that scheme quite a bit here tonight. And I definitely think he's going to be someone that we need to continue to look at over the next 30 laps. And, yeah, as you said, that 9 definitely does have to come in at some point and serve that drive-through penalty. He absolutely did jump the start, unfortunately. Looks like he's definitely going to need a yell to get back in contention at this point because I don't think he can go on to an alternate strategy if you don't have a pack to come out to with.
Well, that could help him in the end, possibly. If he finds some cars to draft with eventually, he might be able to it might cycle out to him if we get close on fuel because he'll have a little bit of a jump start there on the fuel numbers. But Demaris Hickenbottom now helping Chris Mathis on the outside. And last time we saw an Azus car next to Nate Brooker's car, it didn't end well. Hopefully this time goes a lot better. Not much of a pack really forming right now. You see a bit of a line starting to finally form on the inside there. So we might see some guys make it too wide. It's about, I believe that's actually most of the field kind of forming on the inside there. So we might see the good old Dale line form on the outside eventually throughout this race. But right now it's on the inside.
It always seems like it's very difficult to get, like you say, that Dale line along the outside of Talladega Superspeedway for whatever reason. However, it definitely comes prevalent where like the single file line can be very effective on the inside line. It's just very interesting to see. I think the issue is that we don't have that air bubble that you see in real life racing, which could make it very easy to get a lot more grip and downforce when you're on the outside line. Just looking at the outside line right now, we said that Chris Mathis is making his presence known. He's currently joined by Damaris Hickenbottom. Very usual to see him in the Galaxy Cup Series about a month or so ago here on PitStop TV. And right now making his presence known in this series as well, running P4, and he's going to give a massive shot to the 19. They're going to have pretty impressive run down the back straightaway.
Yeah, you see Damaris in the Black Lives Matter, number 09 Ford Mustang pushing the Azus, number 19 Chevrolet Camaro Z01 down the back straightaway on the outside. Those two cars are together. Chris Mathis with the block to the inside, so that's going to hang Damaris all the way on the outside unless he can get some friends. But friends are where you find them at Talladega. We mentioned it earlier on. Your friends are definitely where you find them, and right now it does not look like Damaris has any friends. He's got a couple on the outside coming. It's going to be Mario Lapinta and the 29 of Mitchell Goosen, so they're going to try to get their way to the front, help out Damaris get to the front. Jeremy Berger almost getting to the inside of Sean Deal there. You see the almost like a weird golden orange chrome Sunny D machine of Sean Deal, the number 44. As you see, Mario Lapinta has caught these guys, but he's not really keen to help with them. He kind of looked to the outside there, maybe trying to slow up. Damaris Hickenbottom making it 3 wide on the outside now. No friends there. And he might tuck back in. Can't do it because Mario Lapinta is actually going to close that door now.
So we're going to close the door on the Damaris Hickenbottom story for the time being. But of course, we still have about 30 laps of action here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Actually, this time I believe we'll be coming to about 27 laps to go here. Not much trouble for the inside top 5 cars or so. We've seen the one of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He led the lap just 1 lap ago, and he's already looking at the tail end of the top 10 rather, as we come to the entry of turn 1. So yeah, those guys just really struggle in the last lap or so to get formed up, and I think a lot of it just came from Hickenbottom, fighting tooth and nail to try to get back into the middle line. He was hung out to dry on the outside line, and right now we're seeing, I think that is, yes, Chris Mathis leading a massive charge from the outside line, although they're running a little bit higher than the middle line that we're used to, and that run is going to die off pretty quickly, and I think he's going to fade to the back of the pack for now. So right now, the top 5 or 6 cars are leading things without much trouble.
Saw a pretty aggressive lane change there from Damaris Hickenbottom trying to get to the inside. You definitely saw Chris Mathis hang himself out there. Sean Deal got to the inside of him, went through the middle, riding on board with the number 09 of Damaris Hickenbottom. You see Landon Durhold in front of him. They've got Taylor Butcher Benjamin in front of those. So those 3 cars could definitely work their way to the front. We're working lap 69 of this race. Damaris actually looked to the outside. Andrew's trying to make me laugh over in production here, but Damaris Hickenbottom looked to the outside there. Couldn't get anything formed, but Mitchell Goosen's actually now going to make the move to the outside. Got help from Sean Deal. Sean Deal now goes to the inside, fakes him. Mario Lapinta hangs strong on the middle. No help for him either. And then behind them, you got Chris Mathis and Bobby Hamilton Jr. just kind of waiting in the wings here to see what he can do.
So we come to the end of a pretty nice and tame lap here. Looking at 25 laps to go rather this time. So we're coming down to the nitty-gritty. 2 cars currently strung out on the outside line, including, as you said, or rather, no, I'm looking at the wrong car. Sorry. 29 of Mitchell Gossens. He's hung out to dry right now, and then a little bit farther behind him, I'm having a little bit of trouble determining what the number is. It's one of those very identically sponsored cars. I can't remember what the sponsor is too. I believe it's the 13 car of Mario Lapinta, who we haven't talked about too much in the middle stages. These 2 guys are hung out on the outside line, but we have a bit of a run at the outside near the front of the pack. Number 6 of Nate Brooker, he's going to push the 96 of Ryan Duke back to the point. The question is, does Duke pull down to the inside line here? No, I don't think he's going to be clear enough to pull down inside of the 46 of Jeremy Berger at the line. 96 leads his 2nd consecutive lap here, heading into turn 1.
Well, just from a driver's standpoint, if I'm Ryan Duke, I kind of do want to stay in front of that number 6 car, Nate Brooker. Not because I want to lead the field. I just want to lead that outside line. That way I can block all charges from it. Kind of control that lane if I can, because we haven't really seen a 3rd line form tonight. So really, if you're leading that outside line, you've got a good way to go here. And you see Ryan Duke still controlling that outside line. Nate Brooker helping him. And sometimes you might just be helping your drafting partner clear those two guys so you can both of you can work together to stay in front of everybody. But you see Mitchell Gooson's actually helping these two clear the 46 of Jeremy Berger. And I don't think Nate Brooker's fully cleared yet. Now he is. He's definitely cleared. Nate Brooker might try to pass Ryan Duke for the lead here on the inside going into turn 1. And you see him kind of look, but Mitchell Gooson's went down there.
As we come to the exit of turn 2 here, we are going to see Mitchell Goosens hop to the inside line. But it's very interesting to see, and it's just as you pointed out, Cole, the fact that controlling the outside line really gives you a lot of power, and it really puts you in the offensive. When you're on the inside line, it really seems like you are almost on the defensive because you're very vulnerable to guys pulling down onto the inside line in front of you. And all of a sudden, you could very easily be trapped behind 3 or 4 cars on the inside line, and the outside line could absolutely trap you where your only escape is to maybe pull down to below the yellow line and pull to the back of the pack if you feel you're, pretty threatened. So these two are going to continue to lead the outside line right now. They are going to drop off for the time being, but they have a lot of help behind them.
You talk about guys being trapped. That could be like Stephen Parrott and Mike Aiello Jr., both on the inside line there. They're about 4th and 5th in line on that inside. Nowhere to really go unless they bully their way through, but it looks like they're actually starting to pull a little bit on the outside line here. The inside line's gotten formed up now. Riding on board with Mike Aiello Jr., you see the pink roll bars on the Pink Panther machine. He's helping the number 69 Badass Beard Care Ford Mustang of Stephen Parrott. We saw sweep the stages at Bristol and dominating for him, even led the race with no front end for a point. So Steven's showing that he's got speed just about everywhere. He had an unfortunate mishap happen at the Roval, but he's been very consistent ever since we picked these guys up.
Yeah, and I think, this being my first race, I think he's proving that he's a very consistent driver here, even at a plate track where it can be very difficult to determine who you could consider a consistent driver. He's been very relevant throughout much of the race. He's had a lot of guys to work with. I recall him working with Ryan Duke earlier in the race to get that stage 1 victory, and they, both went 1st and 2nd there. And right now they're lined up right with each other again as the outside line begins to really, begin to lose its momentum. Pulling into the right in front of him is now Nate Brooker. So it looks like we're going to calm down for a little bit. And I have to wonder, we're getting to the point where you can make it to the end of the race on one more stop potentially. The window is 15 to 18 laps. In fact, it looks like Schwingle is going to go down pit road here. So I think he was a little bit short on fuel compared to the rest of these guys. He was also about 2 seconds down on the leader there. Lost the pack, apparently. And yeah, he's going to come down pit road here, and I think his day might be done.
Well, I'm going to be interested to see if he can really make it, because we talked about it. It's 17 and a half laps to get to the end. Or, well, 17. I think the most you can stretch it is about 18 laps at the most. But we're working lap 75, so we still got 20 laps left in this race. We will see pit stops soon, though, to try to make it to the end of this race. And it's going to be interesting to see who actually tries to short pit it, try to get it to the end by fuel conservation. But if I'm really looking here, I'm looking at a guy like Bobby Hamilton Jr. You see him riding at the back. He is saving the most fuel out of all these cars because he's not having to use as much gas as the rest of the guys. He's just kind of hanging back there, drafting off other cars, running probably about half to 3/4 of a throttle. So that will, in turn, save you at least 3 laps of gas.
And that very well could be the thing that opens up a lot more strategies for Hamilton Jr. Not necessarily saying that he can make it to the end of the race by any means, but it just opens up so many more variables when you're able to play defensive like that in a fuel strategy plate race like that. It's something that I very much enjoy doing in like official racing. I just think it gives you a little bit of a chance to relax too when you decide to go to the tail end of a lead pack. Let guys duel out front, let them get side by side, let them side draft each other and maybe cause an incident. All you had to do is get on the brakes and be conservative when an accident happens in front of you. And that's the strategy when you're at the tail end of the pack. A lot of benefits besides, saving fuel. So as we come down the back straightaway here, we're getting a couple of calls over the radio that we are potentially looking at pit stops this time by here. Of course, looking at 17 laps to go when these guys get to the line this time. Michael Aiello Jr., he goes for the call. He goes for the pitting in call. Kyle Green. He's going to go for the pin and call. Look for more as we come down out of the exit of turn 4. 46 to Jeremy Berger. He's going to lead 3 cars down to the entry of pit road here. Let's see if these guys get in pretty safely. Looks right. I don't know. The 46, I think he gets slowed down at the yellow line, or rather the orange cone. And I think all these guys are going to be pretty well formed up as long as they have a strong pit stop.
Yeah, so I was calling a great race, but my dumb self hit the wrong button. So that's why you didn't hear any audio out of me. You see the number 76, Kyle Green, Mike Aiello Jr., they both come down as well. And that's only 3 cars. So really, we'll have to see how those 3 cars formed up. We got a lot more cars pitting this time. You see them single filing out on the inside. It's going to be interesting what they do with Damaris here because they're catching him pretty quickly throughout the corner. So it'll be interesting what happens with the lap car Damaris Hickenbottom here. But a lot of cars coming to the pit lane now. Mario Lapinta, Mitchell Goosens, the number 19, Chris Mathis, all coming in this time. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Landon Durhold. So we got a whole host of Chevrolets coming to pit lane.
Looks like these guys are going to come together in a pretty tightly formed pack, which should open up opportunities for these guys to be able to stay formed when they get back on the track. Your in and out laps at these plate tracks are very critical, and being able to ensure that you can get at least a few guys that can run with in a pack right now. We're going to look ahead to the current leaders. Ryan Duke is currently leading the pack, Nate Brooker and Stephen Parrott behind. Guys who we've been talking about throughout the afternoon, or rather the afternoon inside the iRacing simulation. But Damaris Hickenbottom, I believe he's... Oh, no. Yeah, he is the last car on the lead lap right now, so it's very critical that he stays out ahead of these leaders right now because he can get a yellow and not have to take that lucky dog and restart at the tail end along this line. More cars coming down pit road here, including the leader, Ryan Duke.
And Nate Brooker actually passed Ryan Duke on the outside, so great job by Nate Brooker actually getting to pit lane more hastily than Ryan Duke. But you see the teammates, Ryan Duke, Stephen Parrott, both coming in. Taylor Butcher Benjamin coming in as well. Sean Deal's going to be on pit lane. And I believe this might cover everybody so far in that lead group that is yet to pit, if I'm not mistaken. So, first car out of this, there goes Logan Hamilton off the pit lane. So we have a whole host of cars. I believe Chris Mathis might be the first car out of this group to be leading the race.
Chris Mathis somehow comes out about 2 or 3 seconds ahead of any other competitors coming out of the box. So I don't think that's going to hold by any means over the next 15 laps. And I think once a pack catches him, he's going to be very disadvantaged. So for him, it's about being able to merge back with the pack when they come by him, storming with momentum. He may even want to check up enough to where he merges with the pack before, there's 10 cars or so that are formed up.
Well, Chris Mathis is actually going to probably have a challenge here from Kyle Green and Mike Aiello Jr. Those 2 cars working together, got the whole pack behind them. Everyone, everywhere. Taylor Butcher Benjamin was all the way on the inside there. Don't know what happened to him, but he got up in time. Bobby Hamilton Jr., though, leading the second pack of cars, trying to catch the 2-car tandem of Mike Aiello Jr., Kyle Green. And they're catching them for the most part. They've got about 5 to 6 cars lined up in a group here, and they are coming with a whole head of steam.
So it looks like when we consider that Chris Mathis is leading the field, then we have looks to be about 7 cars behind him. It looks like we're going to have about 8 cars battling for the end of this race for a victory. Although, when we're looking at this lead pack, Justin Schwingle, he got that penalty for jumping the restart. So he's going to be a lap car who's going to be playing with the results here. So otherwise, we're looking only at about 7 cars with a chance at victory here today.
Well, you see Chris Mathis absolutely getting freight trained by the rest of the field. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now up to the back bumper of that 2-car tandem we mentioned earlier. You see the onboard of Chris Mathis from the nose cam. Surprised that things lasted throughout the race. The roof cam now, Bobby Hamilton Jr. all over the back bumper of that number 74 Pink Panther machine. He's got help from Landon Durhold, and I believe the 9-car, as you mentioned, a lot down car of Dustin Schwingle. And then Mario Lapinta, Jeremy Berger, Chris Mathis, all in tow of these guys. And then Taylor Butcher Benjamin's running about a second off of the rest of the field, or 2 seconds off the field.
Honestly, I don't think his day is necessarily over. However, I think he's going to need this lead pack to get side-by-side and create a lot of drag. You may see when side-by-side racing happens, an increase in overall top speed, but it also tends to make it easier for a car to draft back up to a lead pack. So definitely hoping for these guys to get side-by-side here early. However, I'm expecting guys to be tame here for a few laps because I think they can afford to.
Well, what could help Taylor out is that car we're on board with right now, Logan Hamilton, getting freight trained as well. So both Jesus cars have been freight trained in the last 2 laps, but that could definitely help Taylor get back up to the front after the problem he had. Everybody kind of running in a single file line right now. We're coming up on about, after this lap is completed, it'll be 11 laps to go here at Talladega. So I believe fuel strategy will definitely be in play, and that's why we're seeing everybody in a single file line right now.
Yeah, you have to wonder, because every split second matters. You have to wonder if guys were gambling. Oh, car around. I believe it's the 13.
That would be the 13 Mario Lapinta around, I believe. Trying to find him. Can't really find him. There he is in the grass. Trying to make his way back on the circuit. He will. I believe that was just a single car spin, though.
It looks like we're going to get a bit of a better replay there. I think there was a bit of a stack up in terms of momentum, and unfortunately, Jeremy Berger gets into the rear end and hooks him around. Just a racing incident. It's something that's going to happen from time to time. Get an aerial view here, and it looks like Jeremy Berger does hook him, and it's because of a little bit of a stall in momentum in front of him. So it's just a racing incident, and sometimes it's just not avoidable.
Luckily for Mario, though, he just got turned around. He didn't really do any damage. That grass won't do much damage compared to the real world, because the splitter is not going to dig into the grass here. But you see, Mario kind of makes a move a little bit higher, trying to check up, and then Jeremy just gets on the left side, turns him. We saw that same thing earlier with Logan Hamilton and Nate Brooker, where you get on the left side and you just turn the guy because of a checkup. But I'm actually wondering what the strategy is going to be here for these guys, because they could pit and be fine to the end now, because we are within almost 10 laps to go.
Honestly, I think we're going to see guys come down pit road just to guarantee that these guys have enough fuel to make it, to any additional green white checkers that we might have. I'm looking at series rules, and I'm not sure what the official rules are on green white checkers. Based off of most iRacing leagues, I expect either 1 or 3. So regardless, coming down pit road could open up some variables.
Yeah, I definitely think if we have those 3 green white checkers, that could throw a wrench into things. But right now, you could easily make it if this thing runs out to the end. Bobby Hamilton Jr. going to be one of the cars to stay out. You see a host of cars coming in. Kyle Green's actually going to be leading the field. Mike Aiello Jr. second, with Bobby Hamilton Jr. third. Chris Mathis on pit lane. Robert Pattengale. I believe Mitchell Goosens, Landon Durhold, Chris Lewis, and then Nate Brooker coming out as well, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin led that entire group.
Just a little bit of an update on a couple of those guys that were on the pit lane. Logan Hamilton's currently 10 laps down right now, unfortunately, out of contention. Mitchell Goosens is going to come out of pit road. He's currently put P12 on the leaderboard. Mario Lapinta comes out. Demaris Hickenbottom, these guys all on the lead lap. Robert Pattengale is going to come out 24 laps down. And unfortunately, I just think we're at the point for him where he's looking to log laps, have a little bit of fun, because I don't think he can gain a position at this point. But yeah, we're going to be coming to a restart here where Kyle Green, Mike Aiello Jr., Bobby Hamilton Jr., Jeremy Berger are going to be some guys leading the field to the race.
And while we are while we got this little break here, we will go back to our sponsors, presenting sponsors tonight. Permanent Makeup in Maine. We'll start with them. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Here at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Boyer, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. If you're looking for the best solutions for your PMU concerns, give us a call today to book a consultation. You can contact us at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text us at 207-358-8683. Once again, 207-358-8683. If you visit our Facebook page, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, you will see that we do monthly giveaways. And if you submit your entry, who knows, you might just win. And now we'll go to Whiplash Media, which I believe Trey is going to tell us what that is.
So Whiplash Media is PitStop TV's new parent organization, specializing in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and much more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, such as photography, social media management, and public relations. For more information, go to whiplash-media.com.
All right, so the lights will be on longer, and hopefully we don't have it to be here any longer, so we won't use up any of Talladega's electricity before they get mad at us. But So to reset your field here, it's going to be Kyle Green leading, Mike Aiello Jr. second, Bobby Hamilton Jr. third. I believe that's going to be Jeremy Berger fourth, and fifth will be Ryan Duke. So that's going to be your top 5 on this restart. And I definitely would say watch for the 69 and 96 to work together to get to the front here.
We saw it at the conclusion of stage 1 that these guys were very keen to work together. And I think we're going to see the same here later in the race. Of course, once you get to the white flag here at Talladega, we know that all bets are off, every man for himself. And of course, as you know, broadcasting always enjoys to make clear, because it's a very big difference between the racing you see at Daytona and Talladega when you're coming to the checkered flag, is the fact that the start-finish line is quite a ways away from the middle of the tri-oval, and it's down near the entry of turn 1. And that makes an absolutely massive difference as to when you want to pull out a line and try to go for a run at victory.
Yeah, I think really the move is going to be within the last 3 laps of this race. We will go green with, I believe, about 8 or 9 to go. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens. But I believe the move is going to come within the last 2 to 3 laps of this race.
Without a doubt. And I think that's, just a pure guarantee that we'll get at least one move within the last 2 or 3 laps. But I just think with the calamity that comes with the Cup car in its current state at these super speedways such as Daytona and Talladega, we're probably going to see an incident or 2 on the white flag and probably see 1 or 2 passes for the lead once we take that white flag before we get that checkered flag and someone's able to take the victory here.
Yeah, I definitely think the finish of this will be interesting. Kyle Green, though, a man we haven't really talked about tonight. He was running the Support Our Troops car last week. Tonight he's got a Tampa Bay Buccaneers car. Might not be the most popular with Alabama fans, but hey, slap an Alabama logo on that car will be fine eventually. And he's got some nice metallic red accents on that car, and it's going to be leading us to the green here. Restart with about 7 to go when they cross the stripe. Or actually, yeah, 7 to go if my math is right. It could be wrong. Who knows? I'm from Kentucky. We aren't the best. But Kyle Green leading him through the restart zone. Everybody gets a good restart there. Mike Aiello Jr. protecting the bottom really quick. I was actually wrong. 8 laps to go. Kentucky map there for you. So Kyle Green going to get a little bit of a jump. Not too big of a jump we've seen tonight, but he kind of backing up to the 74 Mike Aiello Jr. now.
Hey, regardless of the exact number there, we know that, it's crunch time at this point. As we come down the back straightaway, Kyle Green did get out to way too much of a jump, in my opinion, I think, just due to the fact that now we have 2 cars that are going to probably be able to very easily slipstream past Jeremy Berger, Bobby Hamilton Jr. to the outside line right now. Those guys aren't quite able to get clear as we enter into turns 3 and 4. Off of the exit of 4, these guys are going to be an absolute drag race coming to the line here to take 7 laps to go.
Jeremy might be giving Bobby a sorry present for slide jobbing him at the Roval, but he's pushing the fire out of the number 4 car, trying to get to the lead here. We got a 3rd lane. Chris Mathis pushing Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Here we go, 3 wide now with 7 laps to go here at Talladega. Intensity has picked up majorly.
Yes, all bets are off here. These guys know that it is go time. No worries about fuel or tires at this point. That there is, of course, unless we get a lot of green white checkers. But honestly, at this point, you have to go for it here. And there's a reason we're seeing side-by-side 5 rows deep right now. 3 wide looking. I believe that is the 6 right now, looking to the outside of Nate Brooker. He's looking to the outside of Butcher Benjamin. Apologies there. Not much help right now, so that's going to stall the outside line a little bit, I think. Hamilton Jr. continues to lead on the outside line right now. Aggressive side drafting Aiello Jr. very aggressively coming through the trial.
I almost thought they were going to wreck there. I saw Jeremy Berger get to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. I thought we were about to have the Logan Hamilton scenario. Mike Aiello Jr. very on the inside, or very close to going on the inside there. Kyle Green tucks back in line, though. Colt Ansley actually just set your fastest lap of the race. So a lot of these players in the back, they could have the run to get up to the front. Bobby Hamilton Jr. makes a twitch to the outside. Whoa, big save out of the number 46. That's going to break up the outside line, but one absolute amazing save out of the number 46. That's Jeremy Berger. And he's driving about like Ryan Blaney, trying to give it all he's got. We've got 6 laps to go here. Kyle Green leading the race as they head off of turn 4.
So after that wild save, let's just take a moment as a breath collectively as a pack and say, okay, let's give ourselves just 1 second. We're going to go out there and push 5 laps to go this time by. just give the outside line a little bit of time to gain a little bit of momentum again, and I think we're going to see a run down the back straightaway. Berger and Hamilton Jr. once again are linked up down the back straightaway. They have the 19 of Mathis behind them. 3 strong cars we've talked about the entire day. And now we're going to be looking at 3 wide, 4 or 5 cars on the outside looking to get that outside lane going.
Yeah, we have a whole host of cars on that outside. Chris Mathis, Damaris Hickenbottom, Nate Brooker, Dustin Schwingle, and Colt Ansley all on that outside. Dustin Schwingle now goes to the middle trying to help a little bit. You're going to see Chris Mathis and Damaris Hickenbottom drop down there from the onboard of Schwingle. But this battle for the lead here, there's the onboard of Hickenbottom trying to make his way through the field here. We're coming to 4 laps to go now. Things are going to get wild. We will see 3 wide to finish out this race. Jeremy Berger with the move to the outside. He's going to get shuffled out. Chris Mathis now pushing Bobby Hamilton. What will he do? Will he make the move? Will he push Hamilton out clear of Kyle Green here? Damaris Hickenbottom is going to help them. Damaris goes to the outside, thinks better of it, tucks back in line. This is when things are going to get wild here, folks.
The side drafting from the inside line from Iadel must be absolutely terrifying from the outside line. We see Hamilton Jr. is going to give a lot of clean air and let the temperatures cool down for the 19 of Mathis. But all that could do is potentially let Mathis go for a run here in the last couple of laps here, because he has a couple of strong pushers behind him. We have Damaris Hickenbottom. He's back in contention here. Behind him, we have the 9 car of Schwingle. He is, after going a lap down because of that jumping penalty off of a restart 20 laps ago or so, he's right back in contention here. We still have like 15 cars in the lead lap in this lead pack. Anyone's game right now.
Damaris Hickenbottom actually making, I don't know if he was trying to make a move to the outside or just trying to cool off his car, but we got 3 laps to go. It's time to push, Damaris. You got to go. That Ford's square enough. Just push him. Chris Mathis, we talked about him being 2 laps down, trying to have the ultimate comeback story like Bill Elliott in 85, trying to get the lead here. We see 1 car on the outside. That's Colt Ansley. He's made his presence known now. Landon Durhold in the middle of that pack. What will he do? Where will these guys go? That's going to be the question. We're coming to 2 to go.
Coming out of the exit of turn 4 this time, Mathis still leading the outside line with Hickenbottom in tow. I think what's hurting them right now is the fact that we have 2 cars trying to make it 3 wide, including Mathis this time. 3 cars in the outside line right now, and I think it's just going to stall the momentum for these guys right now. They're not...
Whoa, we're looking! There they go! Oh, 1 up in the air! We got 2 up in the air. Mike Aiello Jr. in the fence. I believe the 19 just went up in the air, so there's the big one. We were waiting for it to happen, but that was a massive crash. Get the replay up on the screen here. A bad push from Damaris, I believe. And then Damaris kind of got sandwiched in there because he was trying to help the 74, but the 19 came down. Couple cars go in the air there. You see the 74 riding up on top of the group. And that's going to be 7 to 8 cars taken out right there in that wreck.
Looks like we have 3 or 4 cars that got some pretty solid airtime there. And as we hear so often at Talladega and Daytona, that was the field. Only 3 or 4 guys get away without any type of damage or having to avoid the incident. And I think at this point of the race, that's going to take out a few guys that do not have a fast repair. Yeah, absolutely changing the landscape. Sorry, Cole.
And see, we were 3 wide there. Chris Mathis was kind of leaning on Aiello, and they were racing very hard, side drafting very aggressively. You see them make contact there. Mathis trying to get back to the door. Damaris was there trying to help out the 74, and it just hooks the 74 hard into that wall. Damaris launches the 19 up in the air. We're going to have a couple more cars get in the air. The 44, I talked about Landon Durhold. He's in there. The 1 car is in there, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He might have actually came out of that best. Nate Brooker in the 2nd accident of his tonight. So a lot of cars going to go out of the race here. Colt Ansley was up on the wall, I believe. But a lot of cars wrecked in this one.
I think a lot of guys are going to get, pretty high scores just in terms of form there. I mean, there were just a lot of cars with a massive amount of airtime there. We saw Aiello Jr. be the first one, and I believe we saw also Mathis, a couple other guys that I wasn't able to identify. I think it absolutely changed the landscape right now. I only see 4 cars out there that are completely clean, such as Kyle Green, Ryan Duke. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is leading the race right now, and we also have Stephen Parrott in the 69 right now. We go on board here with the 44 car. That is Sean Beal right now. You can see he was 3rd or 4th car on the inside line. You would think from this position he's able to avoid the accident, and he just gets clipped in the, that would be the right rear. And unfortunately, that's probably going to be the end of his day.
Yeah, that's the thing about Talladega. You think you're safe, as you saw on the onboard there, Sean Deal. He looked to be good on the inside. Now we're going to look at Colt Ansley's view. See them make contact there. Goes back down to the inside, hard into the wall. Colt Ansley nowhere to go. You see that 74 just fly right over the head. And cars wrecking everywhere. Jeremy Berger in that as well. So a lot of contenders we talked about today just taken out in this massive melee.
Honestly, at this point, we have a smaller field, but it just makes me excited to get a little bit of a reset. We have a few less players this time around, but I think the action is just going to be as exciting. It becomes a little bit more of a chess game, I think, because guys are going to have to be able to identify very quickly who they can work with and who's going to play nice with them until we get, to the point where we're coming out of turn 4, coming to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, I think even with the reduced amount of cars, you'll definitely see a fantastic finish. It's been fantastic racing here tonight so far. Bobby Hamilton Jr., your leader after 95 laps. We are 1 lap past the scheduled distance. Scoring right now is going to show that we're going to have 97 laps, but I think that'll change to about 98 laps once we get the green-white checkered going. But Bobby Hamilton Jr., we talked about him riding around all night long. He's up in the lead now. You see Jeremy Berger going around there. Unfortunately for him, Colt Ansley got the back end of that car at the very end. Landon Durhold did a pretty nice job of getting through the rest of the wreck after he got caught up in the initial part. But a lot of really good cars in this race were taken out.
Yeah, just looking down on pit road here, Cole, I see Chris Mathis. He's still in his pit box. We have Ainsley still in his pit box. I believe the leaders are coming because a couple of guys are exiting the pit road to avoid going a lap down, potentially. Mike Aiello Jr., his day concludes a bit early. We're on board with Hickenbottom. We're going to slow down a little bit here and see if rather, was this net code or was this guys getting into each other? It looks like Damaris and Mathis just, one goes right, one goes a little left. And at the end of the day, that's what we call a racing incident. And it's just going to happen sometimes when you get guys at the end of a race going for a race win.
Yeah, and you were talking about it, Trey. Really, just everybody pushing so hard for this. And that was literally that was pretty much caused. If we get another look at the onboard of Hickenbottom there, you'll see it on your screen. You see him in the middle there, on board here, and you see him kind of knock Aiello Jr. up the track a little bit. Mathis trying to go back down the side draft, and that just turned him because Damaris was there. And you're going to look at it on your screen one more time. You see Aiello Jr. moving up a little bit. Damaris going to come to push him. It's going to shove his car up. You see him shoved up right there. And then Aiello kind of goes back down. And then Damaris is going up to help Aiello Jr. out. And then Mathis just comes down. Nowhere to go for these guys. And it's on from there.
Missed the early part of that accident, but yeah, that was described very well there. A combination of factors. And the more you look at it, it was just a little bit of aggressiveness way too early. Maybe not way too early. I'm a kind of being a little bit hypocritical with myself because we were coming to 3 or 2 laps to go there. But, I just a little aggressive, and sometimes it's just going to naturally happen at Talladega.
Yeah, so I believe we do have about 4 good cars left in the field right now. We will be going green this time. It will be a 98 lap dash for the finish here. Bobby Hamilton Jr., your race leader. Kyle Green in second. And then the 2 previous race winners, Ryan Duke and Stephen Parrott, the teammates, they're going to be 3rd and 4th. Really the best 4 cars in the field are in your top 5 there. Sean Deal actually has a great car, though, because he got his fast repair. He did not use it up yet. So look for that 44 to actually be quick. The 1 car, I believe he used his fast repair as well. And Mario Lapinta used his. So a lot of these guys could still have a shot depending on what happens here.
With only, 4 or 5 cars that are completely clean, I'm expecting a finish similar to what we saw in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, or Gander Outdoors Truck Series, I believe, at 2019 in Daytona. Or there was also a race where Michael Waltrip and Elliott Sadler were the only 2 cars in contention coming to the white flag. That could very much be the case here, especially if we have an accident on the white flag. Green flag of the air. Hamilton Jr. is going to be very conservative in getting on the loud pedal. A lot of pushing on the outside line. Inside line for the 69 of Parrott. And right now, it looks like Green's going to be hung out to dry on the outside. Oh, no, he's still side drafting with the 4. No help, and he's making a massive run.
Yeah, he's trying. Whoa, and there they go. They're crashing again. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the fence hard. Kyle Green in the fence. And that was just side drafting gone wrong. So we will get attempt number 2 at a green-white checkered. Second week we've had to use that green-white checkered. Bobby Hamilton Jr. almost getting beached there, you see. And unfortunate for the number 16. Ran a great race all night long. Kept his nose clean when possible and just gets turned hard into the wall due to side drafting. So we're going to get a replay up on your screen here. You see Kyle Green make a little bit of net code, I believe, from the 69 there of Stephen Parrott. And net code is basically when iRacing predicts your car to be in a different place of where it actually is on the screen. So it turns the car ahead. You see, looking on board here, maybe just the slightest bit of net code there turning him. But unfortunate there. The 2 teammates will get out unscathed, though, behind these 2.
This time we'll slow it down a little bit here and see that initially the contact, it's hard to tell if the 75 shoots up because it gets loose or if there was initial contact. There's the contact. And I don't think there's net code for the initial contact. Just a couple of slight movements, and then eventually the 69 and the 75 do get together.
Yeah, so in full time, it did look like a little bit net code, but the replay there slowed down, showed the truth there. It was contact between the 69 and 76, and that's going to destroy his car. Bobby Hamilton Jr. bringing it to the pit lane, so he might get his fast repair. I think he will still have it. Yes, he does. So Bobby Hamilton Jr. still in this race, still chance to win. We got a 2-lap shootout coming up for everyone, and it'll definitely be a great run to the finish.
Yeah, we're looking at the second green-white checker here, and that's going to put us very well past regulation. We're already looking at perhaps going to 101 laps when we were supposed to be at 94 laps here tonight. Nate Brooker, just for an update, he's going to disconnect from the server after that latest incident here. And right now, we're looking at about 11 guys in the lead lap. You said Bobby Hamilton Jr., though, was able to come back out. He's going to stay in the lead lap after taking that fast repair, make it 12 cars. Nate Brooker disconnects, so make it 12.
Yeah, so the field definitely dwindled down after having the big one and then the restart wreck there. Stephen Parrott, going to be your race leader in the badass Beard Care Ford Mustang number 69. Then the number 96 of Ryan Duke's going to be behind him. We've seen Ryan run 3 different paint schemes. This week it's a B&H, or I think it's a B&H race paint scheme. Yeah, B&H Racing you see on the number 96 this week. So 3rd different paint scheme we've seen for Ryan. Ryan loves to usually pull out current or throwback schemes, but tonight he's actually running one of his team paints. Sean Deal got a little bit of damage now from that last wreck, so unfortunate for him. The right side's pretty torn up on the number 44. He will be 3rd. Mario Lapinta in 4th. Got one of the cleanest cars out here. Taylor Butcher Benjamin in 5th. 6th is going to be Damaris Hickenbottom with his torn up Black Lives Matter machine. And then Kyle Green is 7th with no front end on that machine.
So yeah, Kyle Green, we saw him without a front end almost like 20 or 30 laps ago, which I think that makes me think that he was out of a fast repair relatively early into the race here. Just to talk a little bit more about that 44, the Sunny D scheme, it looks almost like a color chrome, Lionel diecast there. It's one of the few cars I think that has an L-TAC hood banner here. So yeah, otherwise we're just looking through the field here. Looks like Bobby Hamilton Jr. is going to have a clean car. He's currently gridded P9 on the leaderboard here. Robert Pattengale, 34 laps down in 18th. He has a little bit of damage. Of course, he's out of contention of the race. Logan Hamilton, 10 laps down out of contention. Other cars that are out of contention but still on track. It looks like Colt Ainsley and Chris Mathis are both out of the race right now. Mike Aiello Jr., all guys that are 5 or 6 laps down from that big one incident. Otherwise, I think we just about covered most of everyone still in the race.
Yeah, and a lot of these cars, they don't have any damage, but they're going to be behind damaged cars. So if you got a clean race car, you might be stuck behind somebody. You don't want to be like Bobby Hamilton Jr. stuck behind the 76 there. But luckily for Bobby, he should be on the outside restarting 8th, but we'll have to see how that shapes out. Should be getting the 1 to go this time, I believe, as pace car is going to bring him through the tri-oval. And we are going to work lap 100 of this race starting now. see 3 to go on your screen there. That's because of the green, white, checkered. But we have officially reached 100 laps in this race, and the pace car lights are out. We will go green this time.
So only about 2.66 miles before we go back to green flag racing here. And yeah, I honestly think this is the one where we finally get it done here. It's just to the point where we only have less than a handful of cars, honestly, that are completely clean here. I think it's just a matter of getting to that white flag here. I mean, that's always the thing here at Talladega Super Speedway. I'm just, thoroughly excited. I'm excited to see if Bobby Hamilton Jr. can get through a couple of these damaged cars and contend for the win.
Yeah, I definitely think he can, especially with the runs these cars can produce. So it should be interesting trying to get to the end of the race here. But I definitely think teammates will work this out to where they work together here. But Mario Lapinta, he's not got a lot of damage. He's got a little bit of damage, but I definitely think he's got a shot at winning here.
Gonna have to take a little bit of a closer look at the 13 there. I haven't been looking at him too much during the restart. He's been very much up and down the leaderboard today. I mean, we've been talking about him, for both being involved in some incidents and, also having some runs near the front of the pack. I mean, most guys have been able to get a run near the front of the pack. I'm sure when we look back at, the statistics of the race, we're probably going to see 2/3 of the field with at least one lap led in a race this crazy. But yeah, I think he looks clean enough to go out there for a win here. We're entering 3 and 4 here, and excitement is at a peak.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be exciting here. And it just proves Talladega, you don't need an entire pack of cars to make something exciting. We have about 5 cars that have some straight panels on them. And they are definitely going to put on a show for us as they head out of turn 4. This will be attempt 2 of 3 for the green, white, checkered, so we'll have to see who gets it done. I definitely think Ryan Duke and Stephen Parrott are going to get formed up here, so we'll see how the teammates work it out. Could see a good old Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray moment like in 2010. Harvick pulled out to the inside of McMurray coming through the tribal and stole the victory there. Or it could be like the teammates of Jeff Burton and Clint Boyer doing the same thing the year later. But we'll have to see how it goes. Stephen Parrott leading them down to the restart zone. It's going to be right after the Talladega sign on the wall. We are in the restart zone now. Stephen Parrott going, and Ryan Duke's going to get to the inside, I believe, to help his teammate out.
We have a legal restart, and unfortunately, we're going to see another yellow.
And we have a crash.
Bobby Hamilton Jr.
That was a bit of a weird restart. I saw Landon Durhol get turned by Jeremy Berger, so we are going to use all 3 attempts. Bobby Hamilton Jr. got some rear end damage in that, but his car might still be good.
Oh, it looks a little bit battered, honestly. It was definitely a bit cleaner on that last restart. We're going to see Damaris Hickenbottom absolutely struggle to get going. The 4 gets loose, and he's going to collect a couple of cars, it seems. I'm not sure who that was. I think he caught one of the cars really cool.
Jeremy Berger went down to miss him and then got into the back of the 94. So, and then the 12 car Logan Hamilton, just a bystander riding around 10 laps down, unfortunately got a clip of that.
Quite an awkward restart there. In some ways, it almost reminds me of what we saw a few years ago at Talladega, where they were struggling to get out of the box for the restart, and eventually the race ended under yellow after some issues getting out of the restart box at Talladega. Now, it wasn't the same scale where a half dozen cars got taken out, but it felt very similar there, where guys were just struggling to get going. Guys with different amounts of momentum were running into each other.
Yeah, I definitely think, though, that this is going to be an interesting finish for sure. We don't have many cars left. I mentioned we had cars with straight panels. We now only have about 3 cars with straight panels on them now. So it'll definitely be interesting because we have damaged cars mixed in with the clean cars. But I definitely think it's going to come down to Ryan Duke and Stephen Parrott, our latest 2 race winners here in the L-TAC Cup Series. A little bit of a story on Ryan Duke. We mentioned it last week at Bristol, but he's won. He won the Roval, but he technically won Martinsville as well. Did not exceed, or he didn't complete the preferred amount of practice laps. There's a preferred amount of practice laps that the L-TAC Cup Series wants these guys to run every week, and Ryan Duke unfortunately did not meet that. Was not eligible. Well, he was. They allowed him to race at Martinsville, but he was not eligible to be scored in the end. And then he came back at the Roval, took a 4 tires instead of Logan Hamilton's 2, stole the win there, and then nearly won last week at Bristol. We're at Talladega this week.
So, yeah, the other thing is it's very interesting to see him so competitive for not being a guy that was racing into the chase. Of course, we picked up the deal here with L-TAC a little bit later into the season, so it's possible he was also, someone who joined very late into the season. But it's just very interesting to, learn a little bit more about this driver who's been one of the strongest here tonight. I mean, Cole, yeah, I mean, you've talked enough about him to where, like, there's a reason we're seeing him as a contender tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan Duke's one of the hard chargers of the field. But it'll be interesting. I believe the lights are still on the pace car. So we'll run one more pace lap, and I think we will get the green, or we'll get the one to go next lap, and then we'll go green right after that. This is the final attempt. So if we get a yellow, the race will end. If we do not get a yellow, it's going to be clean to the end. And whatever happens, happens. If you go in the air, you go in the air. If you spin out, you spin out. If you actually go straight and finish in the proper form, then you finish. So it'll be interesting to see what we get here, because tonight's been kind of a wild card. It was very calm throughout the first 2 stages. Saw a couple incidents, saw a couple multi-car wrecks. But now it's just no holds barred at this point.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there. I was going to bring up another race when you said about the fact that it's been, relatively tame in the early parts of the race. Honestly, I was thinking we were going to have the potential of a race similar to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race a couple years ago, where Michael Annett was able to claim a victory in a pretty tame back end of the race. We were looking at that, early in this last stage. But now we're looking at what has become the norm here at the Super Speedways in the Cup Series, and it's been a bit, quite a bit of calamity, but coming into tonight, I think we kind of had to expect it, especially when you have a bunch of guys on iRacing and you don't have to worry about ruining hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. It really, takes away a lot of the risk too, when, injury isn't an issue either, and all bets are off.
Yeah, really, the financial side of things definitely helps you make bolder moves here on the sim, but I don't know if the bold moves we've seen tonight, well, we haven't seen really too bold of a move, not any move that I would have not made. So it'll definitely be interesting to see if anybody does try a bold move. I definitely think, though, that the 69 and 96 will get out ahead of the field. They've got the 2 cleanest cars here in Talladega. But I want to see if another car back here with a little bit of damage could possibly form a run like the number 1 or the 13. Sean Deal's car has got a lot of right side damage, but he was keeping pace with him, so he could make a run even.
I like what you're saying about Sean Deal here, because his damage honestly isn't that severe. I hate to change the subject so abruptly, but I have to be wondering how these guys are on fuel, because we do see 96 of Ryan Duke pushing Stephen Parrott quite a bit here. And you have to wonder, we were talking earlier about the fact that maybe that earlier pit stop might set up guys to be able to go to the end of like a third green light checker, and we're starting to play into that scenario here. So I have to wonder, maybe some guys are going to run out here on this one.
Yeah, fuel is definitely going to be a key. I believe the 69s had the clutch in, because I've seen 2 separate cars pushing him. You see Sean Deal pushing him right now. Ryan Duke was pushing him under caution earlier, so Stephen Parrott could be trying to stretch the fuel here, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can make it or not, but he might have saved enough here under the yellow.
Only time will tell at this point. A lot of people may sleep on the idea of a, fuel strategy race, but I just like the idea of adding more unpredictability. I understand that it might be, a little bit easier to understand a race when, like everyone is on the same playing field. But I just like the idea of, at a race where the equipment is made pretty equal, the setups are made equal, even though this is a fixed setup race. We have some area where someone can pull out some stops, on top of the pit box. Even if, we don't have a lot of actual crew chiefs in this series, it gives drivers a chance to utilize some strategy.
Yeah, that's one great thing about the iRacing service. You kind of choose your own destiny when it comes to pitting. You definitely got to make the right calls as your own crew chief, because you could definitely hurt yourself in the long run trying to get to the end of one of these races, especially a race like this where we have a half a fuel tank. So you could definitely control your own destiny whether you win or not, or even have a chance to win this race.
And I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's just the beauty of iRacing.com. I think the thing that's also cool, we have a couple guys that are spotting in here tonight, so you can definitely have someone on top of that virtual pit box here such as Richard Springer. He's on top of Taylor Butcher Benjamin's box. Or Sean Deal, he has David Lambert on the top of his box. So these guys could be both spotting and calling the shots on top of the box here. We're coming to the trial here, and it looks like Stephen Parrott, he's going to lead this absolutely mangled field to the green flag.
And Stephen Parrott getting the good jump over Ryan Duke there. It'll be interesting to see what the two teammates do. But the field got very spread out. A lot of those damaged cars getting spread out through the field. Taylor Butcher Benjamin got a decent restart. I don't know if his car has the horsepower to get up there, though. It could possibly. He's got Mitchell Goosens helping him.
So right now, we're starting to see a callback to tandem racing at this point. We have Ryan Duke, Stephen Parrott. They're locked up together. We have Sean Deal, and we have Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Only about a half a second behind, but those guys are not playing nice for third place right now. They're starting to get a lot of slipstream, and they could be in contention. Looks like we're going to have a 4-car race as we head through turns 3 and 4. We're going to take the white flag. Hopefully, race control does not have to call a yellow.
And to update you there, that's actually Mitchell Goosens in the 29. But Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's kind of lurking in the distance. So if something happens with these 4, he could take over. White flag. The race is official now. Taylor Butcher Benjamin makes the move to the outside. The 2 Camaros versus 2 Mustangs. So it's going to be interesting to see who's got the higher horsepower. I don't know if Mitchell Goosen's damage will hurt them. Well, actually, he doesn't have any damage. I guess he got it fixed now. They're making a run on the outside, though. The 1 car trying all he can to try to get the race win here. It's going to be a drag race heading into turn 3 now. Taylor Butcher Benjamin on the outside. Mitchell Goosen's on the inside, or pushing him. Then on the inside, you got Stephen Parrott, Ryan Duke. It's going to be a drag race heading off of turn 4. Can Taylor Butcher Benjamin get it? He's to the outside. He's to the door. Bender, there they go, through the tri-oval, side by side. It's coming right to the line. They all wreck. Stephen Parrott got across the line, and he will win here at Talladega. And what was going to be a good finish, mired by a crash.
What can I say there? Absolutely electrifying finish. I mean, we didn't have a drag race coming to the line, but it was still really unpredictable. And, you know, Stephen Parrott, I think he was definitely the guy that probably deserved to win the most today. Congratulations to Stephen Parrott on a win here at Talladega Superspeedway. Cole, it took 107 laps. Regulation was 94, but we had an absolutely excellent show tonight.
Yeah, it was a wild show indeed. And Stephen Parrott, back-to-back wins for the number 69 Badass Beard Care Machine. He won Bristol, and now he's proven he can win at Talladega. And right now, he's just helping himself out in the points here. So we will definitely get interviews with these guys here soon, because I believe, well, actually, we do not have Stephen Parrott. So we'll try to get Stephen up in here when we can. Third place, though, is going to be Ryan Duke. Mitchell Goosens in second, and a lot of just calamity throughout this race.
The last lap speaks for itself. It really, I mean, guys were just incredibly aggressive tonight, and it resulted in a lot of incidents to the point where, you know, we did not have that drag race come to the line. Still very exciting, but honestly, I do think we were hoping for a drag race to the line there, because it was really exciting to see those guys bumpers locked for almost 2.5 miles around Talladega. So yeah, we're just going to see both of the cars on the inside just really shot up to the middle line there, and that was the result.
It looked like the bumper hook kind of happened to the 69 there. There's a bump on the inside of the tri-oval there, and it looks like they hit it. And when they did, the 96 of Ryan Duke, his car just kind of hooked the 69 up the track into the 1 and 29. But 69 will come away with the win tonight. And if we can get him, we will definitely get him in here soon. All right, well, before we can get the drivers up in here, we're going to go through our sponsors one more time. Permanent Makeup in Maine. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Here at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bowyer, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. If you're looking for the best solutions for your PMU concerns, give us a call today to book a consultation. You can contact us at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text us at 207-358-8683. Once again, 207-358-8683. If you visit our Facebook page, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, you will see that we do monthly giveaways And if you submit your entry, who knows, you might just win.
All right, next we're going to cover Whiplash Media. PitStop TV's new parent organization, Whiplash Media, specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and much more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence, in real racing, such as photography, social media management, and public relations. For more information, be sure to check out whiplash-media.com.
All right. Well, we have not had any of our drivers show up here, so we're just going to quickly recap the race while we're sitting here waiting for them to get here. But that was just a wild race. It was very calm throughout the first 2.5 stages, and then it looked like everything just kind of broke loose there at the end because there was really the intensity ramped up majorly once we started getting 3 wide.
The other thing is, people really tend to lose their cools once we get to the point where, it's go time, especially when you have to consider maybe we don't have to pit anymore. That's really when guys don't have to consider strategy, essentially. That's when people sometimes tend to lose their heads and lose their cool. And that's what happened at Talladega today.
Yeah, I think we tore up a lot of race cars here tonight because it was just there was nothing you could do. We had that major wreck there late in the race, took out a huge amount of contenders. Nothing you could really do. Bobby Hamilton Jr., though, he came back to get 5th tonight. He even had his fair share of wrecks getting turned there. I believe it was on the first green, white checkered, and then it was actually the restart before the green, white checkered. He got turned, and then the first green, white checkered, he got turned once again trying to get going. So he had his fair share of torn up race cars. Just about everybody in this field, I believe, had to use their fast repair one way or another tonight. And honestly, we just tore up a bunch of equipment. But in the end, Stephen Parrott coming home with the win. Pretty solid job by him. And it'll definitely look different as we head off. Well, actually, I don't know where we head off next week, but it'll definitely be interesting when we get into the later races in the chase.
All right, it looks like we are going to take a look here at the concluding race results here. Starting off with Stephen Parrott. He's going to take the victory in that absolutely insane finish there. Mitchell Gossens, apologies if my pronunciation isn't correct there. He's going to finish 2nd. Ryan Duke 3rd. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, after a very consistent day, will finish 4th. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will be the best of the rest there at the end. He will be 5th. Landon Durhold 6th. Jeremy Berger 7th. Dustin Schwingle, he will be 8th after that earlier penalty. Mario Lapinta 9th. Sean Deal is going to be 10 seconds back. He will finish in 10th place.
All right, 11th place is going to be Kyle Green. And then 12th place, Damaris Hickenbottom, 2 laps down. Mike Aiello Jr., we saw him win stage 2. He finished 7 laps down in 13th. Nate Brooker, we saw him up at the front all night long, 10 laps down in 14th. Logan Hamilton, 15th. Chris Mathis made a charge all the way back up to the front and unfortunately taken out in the huge one that we had going into turn 1. He finishes the night 16th, 14 laps down. Colt Ansley caught up in that as well, 17th. Robert Pattengale, 18th. Christopher Lewis, 19th. And Lauren McFadden will round out your field in the 20th spot. And to go back on our point earlier, we will be going to Kentucky next week. But I definitely hope it will be a bit of a cleaner race there. That's going to be the new Kentucky layout, so it'll be interesting to see how the cars manage around there.
It will be the first time, I think, since we've covered the series that we'll be going to the intermediate track. And it will be the first time we will get the opportunity to see these guys with 550 horsepower and a large spoiler. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys handle that, because they're not only going to see that at Kentucky, they're going to go to New Hampshire for the penultimate round of the season, and that's where we're going to see smaller spoilers again, like we saw at Bristol. But then we're going to have that big spoiler package, 550 horsepower, to conclude the season at Homestead. A lot of exciting tracks over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it should be definitely interesting. But that's actually going to conclude our coverage for tonight. We were unfortunately unable to reach anybody for interviews, but that's going to conclude tonight's event for the L-TAC Racing League from Talladega Superspeedway, PitStop TV. Thanks you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. We'll continue with more racing action Wednesday as the stars of online open wheel racing take on Laguna Seca in the penultimate round of the IORL Championship, which was actually postponed to next week. So make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube by just searching PitStop TV. This has been Cole Freilich and Trace Shuttlesworth up in the booth for PitStop TV, and we will see you all next time.